Well, there's my beautiful podcast, people. Everybody good? All right, great to hear. Thanks, as always, for listening to the podcast. And, of course, thanks to our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for making it all possible. Can we believe it's April already? And like the old saying goes, April showers brings gross, disgusting humidity and heat in May. Beat the heat and the summer rush. Have Standard Heating and Air Conditioning out to work on that AC soon. April is the best month to get your air conditioning wrenched on before the huge summer rush starts. So get on that today. Go to standardheating.com and schedule that AC tune-up. Thanks for listening. We love you podcasters. Enjoy the show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
All right, you bastards. Welcome to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. If you look closely, you'll notice that we've made it on up to Thursday, and we absolutely hope that you're doing well. Doing what? Josh went out on a school night last night. That doesn't happen very often.
Almost never.
That was insane.
Yeah,
what was it like to be out on a, how should I say this? What was it like to be out of the house on a weeknight?
Nerve-wracking.
You were nerve-wracked by the experience?
Especially how late it was. But I'll tell you what, we went to the Wild game last night, and they couldn't have put on a better show.
They knew you were there, didn't they?
Well, you think you put up 7 goals. You've got a 3-goal lead in the third. Pretty safe. Pretty safe that you're going to go home at the end of regulation, but that's not what happened last night if you watched the game.
That was a gangbang.
It was.
So
that was fun.
You were the only guy in the arena who had zero enthusiasm for overtime.
Oh, I wasn't interested in that at all.
You wanted to go effing home.
I was hoping Caprice. I was yelling from the back of the stadium. Come on, man! I got to get up at 3. Can you sink one right now for us?
I hear you. I've been there. It sucks that you have to have that attitude, but you got to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. You want to get the hell out. I don't get overtime. Are you kidding me? Overtime sucks. I want to go home.
You think with how, Eriksson did his best. I mean, basically, after the game, I wanted to just thank him for what he did. I thought for sure, he's going to give us just such a comfortable lead that we're going to leave at the end of regulation. That's not what happened.
I had to have the same attitude when I went and saw Foo Fighters. The Foo Fighters, whatever the proper way is to say it, a number of years ago. I know they have a lot of followers, fans. Personally, I've never really dialed too deep into the Foo Fighters, but I went to the show because a friend of mine was really excited about it. I said, yeah, I'll go see the Foo Fighters with you. And, I mean, people listening right now, they know these hours suck.
Yeah.
And when you go out to a concert or a movie and it goes late, movie. Ball
Pretty
game.
standard run times.
I meant to say ball game. When you go to a concert or a ball game and it runs late, it does. It becomes kind of stressful. You get kind of anxious. So
if it's like a Thursday night, you think I can limp through Friday.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure, you got a couple days left. It's even worse.
I'm not even going to the AC/DC show tonight because it's a friggin' work night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the older you get, the harder it is.
Exactly. So,
it was such a fun night. It was a great game. For not just what was going on the ice, but it was Prince night. It's my wife's favorite artist. I thought, I might get some when we get home. She'll be lubed up for, that was gross. She'll be all excited from the Prince night.
God.
Yeah, like I said, as it came out, I haven't slept. And I thought maybe that'll happen, but no, we got home a little after 11.
So, yeah, I get it. At that Foo Fighters show, crowd's going wild. And I enjoyed it. I wasn't terribly familiar with, the band. But I enjoyed it. Except it just kept getting later and later and later. They really gave that crowd their money's worth.
Oh, yeah, they play forever.
I did not know that.
And they're an incredibly good band live.
I did not know that they played forever. And so everyone's going buck wild but me. And at one point, that singer, Dean, whatever his name is, he says, "We got time for a few more." And everyone said, "Hell yeah." And I said, "No!"
I hate that.
Come on, dude.
Yes.
Yeah, you hate to be that guy because you're right. I was the only one for sure that was like, come on, let's just wrap this up.
I said, "No, you do not have time for a few more."
There was
It's the nature of the beast with these hours.
they had a band there. So, again, it was Prince night, a lot of Prince-themed stuff. And they had a group, I guess you'd call them, that was performing, and they were spectacular. They did some Prince covers. They did some Journey. I want to give this woman credit. Monique Blakey, I believe is her name. And it was her and a couple dudes, and they rocked it.
A live band playing during the game?
No, it was in between periods. And it was so good. I didn't realize, I thought they were covered. I could tell it wasn't the artist, but it sounded real close. Very, very well done. And I didn't realize that was a live band. It sounded so good.
So you were dancing around having a good time.
Yeah, they were great.
All right.
So I'm not sure if she's a national artist or a local artist, but if for somehow they hear it, man, you guys really rocked it last night. That was awesome.
What do you think of the nighttime crowd? They're different, aren't they?
Loud. Very loud.
People, the night, there's attitude.
Yeah, chips on shoulders. A lot of yelling Civ, which I thought, that I could tell that it hurt whoever the Sharks goalie, I forget his name.
Nobody knows
it hurt his feelings.
No one knows his name. Oh, Civ.
They got the Civ chant going.
Man, that brings me back. All right. Well, we're glad you had a good time. We know it wasn't quite,
We were all worried about you.
How do I say this? We know that 9 times out of 10 you would have preferred to be home behind closed doors, but you went out, you sacrificed your schedule and your sleep for the family.
Yeah, like I said, it was a lot of fun. It meant a lot to the family. And it's one of 3 events this week. That's too many events for me.
Oh, man.
I can't
That's
handle
way
that
too
anymore.
many, dude.
It's funny. A couple of people said, if I go to a show on a weeknight, I'm taking the next day off. Yeah, we do that at times. That's for sure.
We've done it once.
Josh, you texted me a photo from the game, and I didn't want to say this to you because I knew it would add to your anxiety of not being at home and not getting ready for bed, but I already had showered and was in my clothes ready to go to bed when you sent me that photo.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That was before the game.
I know.
The game hadn't even started
I know. And I didn't say that. I didn't want to rub it in because I knew your anxiety was probably off the charts. You're counting like, all right, when this game ends, I'll get home by this time. I'll get in bed. I might get this much sleep. So I didn't want to say anything, but that was the case for me last night.
And, we parked pretty far away thinking, we'll get out of the lot quick. That was not the case at all.
Oh, that makes it so much worse.
We're stuck in the middle there for a long time.
Then you really are watching the clock in your car. That's the worst.
And people were pissed. There's some folks flipping out.
Some people run hot. There's no doubt about it. All right, what is it? Like I said, Thursday? There used to be a lot more yelling in this building back in the day, wasn't there, Josh?
Way more.
Not really the case anymore. I don't know. It's just not the approach that people take anymore. But
it's a different day and age.
It is different. Things are very different.
Yeah, you can't get away with that kind of stuff now.
We could go down the line.
Back then, it was insane. When I first started here, it was. I remember thinking, this is what it's like. I had only had part-time jobs. I'm like, this is what it's like in a full-time job, where everybody yells and swears at each other.
There was a lot of yelling, a lot of swearing,
These were the bosses.
Yeah, a lot of intensity.
Yeah.
I've never worked at a job like that.
Drama. What's the word you used?
I forgot.
Something
which one
ing at the end. Rowing.
Throwing.
Yes, there were objects being thrown. Very different back then. And he's right. These were bosses acting like that.
But it was funny. There was especially a few different dynamics that were running around here where there's 2 guys in particular. They would scream and yell at each other and F-bomb each other and everything. And then 2 seconds later, be like, all right, man, I'll probably see you tomorrow. Yeah, same time? Okay.
Yeah.
They'd kind of make up pretty quick. Some people not so much, but there was a couple in here that would happen.
Very dramatic, ridiculous, a lot of the personalities.
A lot of egos.
It was kind of gross around here for a lot of years. We have a much smaller crowd filing into this building every day than 25 years ago, 30 years ago. That is a factor. The less folks involved, the less chances for problems, but it was a dramatic scene. A lot of it was wildly unnecessary.
We have about a quarter of the amount of people working here right now than when I started.
Yeah. Someone asked Reddit to name the top jobs that require a high tolerance for being yelled at. A high tolerance for being yelled at.
The trades have to be pretty high up on this list.
No.
That's the only job I've ever heard, like, growing up where the tensions are high. But, I mean, probably because my dad has been in that business his whole life, carpentry, and, yeah, I mean, he'd come home sometimes and talk about a fight him and the foreman got into, and I'm like, what is happening? That doesn't seem right.
I can believe it. I can believe it to be true, but it is not mentioned anywheres in the top 10 jobs that require a high tolerance for being yelled at. I mean, any gig.
I certainly have a high tolerance. I mean, I grew up with a dad that yelled constantly about absolutely everything. He blew up all the time, so I was used to it, and I can't say it didn't faze me, but I knew how to recover from it.
So did you get yelled at back in those early days?
All the time. About every... Oh, I'm sorry, here in this building?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh,
speaking
no,
of...
I never did.
Speaking about things used to be here in the building, I never got yelled at, but I certainly witnessed a lot of yelling matches.
I was talked to rudely, but it was in a funny way.
The hairdo thing.
The hair thing, yeah. So I was running the board for the state fair, so there was somebody else on the air, and so I was just, pushing the buttons back at the station. And the program director at the time, total psycho, although he could be very hilarious.
But more of a psycho.
More of a psycho.
Yeah.
The hilarity didn't outweigh the psychoness. But he scheduled the wrong cut. Back then, like on the CDs, you could pick number 1, number 2, and it would have a different length of an intro. So he scheduled the shorter intro, because especially back then, the shorter the song, the better. They wanted to shorten it. They would take like a normal song, cut it in half. It was crazy. And so he scheduled the wrong one, and that's the one I played. And then the woman who was on the air talked all over the singing, which is like a big no-no in radio, right? Like people, for whatever reason, they freak out.
Mm-hmm.
And so he came in, and he was super pissed. He was yelling at me, and at the time I had bleach blonde hair, and he asked me if the hair dye went to my brain. And I got to say, that was one of the funnier moments working here. Just the way he yelled at me and asked if that was responsible for it. So I thought about saying, hey, douchebag, take a look at the log here. You're the one that scheduled the wrong song. But I was laughing so hard at that, I just let it go.
Yeah, that guy hollered at you.
Yeah, so that's the one time. As far as in other jobs, when I landscape, the days that would be yelling the most were when we're laying like a concrete patio or something. Just the rage. Everybody's in such a big hurry. You don't want to screw it up. And I learned swear words on those days. I hated those days because of how mad everybody got.
This list is interesting, and I'm trying to come up with a way to explain it. It's not so much the list of the jobs that require a high tolerance for being yelled at. It's not so much the kind of gig where you yell back and forth at each other. You and your coworkers yelling back.
It's like clients yelling at you.
It's more so, yes, professions where people are comfortable verbally berating them. Does that make any sense to you?
A job that you go to and you expect to get yelled at by someone, not necessarily a coworker or a boss. Like customer service is on there.
And that's right there, customer service. Especially, they say, if you work at a call center. I don't think I've ever made a telephone call to a call center.
Oh, I'm sure you have. Like a customer service? You've never called,
call your bank or
or cable company?
Nope.
You haven't?
That's crazy to me. What?
No. Why would I ever call my bank?
Like if you
a lot of reasons. I don't know.
Where do we start? I cannot think of one reason why I would ever call my bank. I've never called the bank in my life.
I've had my credit card number stolen.
So that would be a good reason to call the bank.
So you've never applied for a loan?
Nope.
You never a mortgage company?
Nope.
You had a question about it?
No.
That's hard to believe. Never once. Never like your cell phone provider. You've never called?
No.
Wow, that's a life I want.
Well,
that sounds really nice and not stressful.
Do you do it online? Like chatting of any sort?
No.
Does he do it online?
I could see somebody setting him up with it.
No. But customer service reps need to have a high tolerance for being yelled at. F me. God, some of these gigs, I don't know how you do it.
I applied for a job at a call center once, and I got the interview, and I walked out halfway through. It was one of those mass cattle call interviews, where they bring like 30 people in. They show you like an introductory video to the company and, the history of the company. Then they walk you into this room, and there's these phones, and you have to pick up the phone, and you do a phone interview in this room with all these other people. And I go, this is stupid, and I just walked out.
Well, I was a telemarketer for a while. Is that a call center?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Well, did they call you?
No.
So I don't know if a call center is receiving calls
It doesn't matter.
versus making cold calls like you did.
Teachers get yelled at by kids and parents. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I can't imagine.
That's great because I can't find the woman that texted in right now, but she said the job of being a mom definitely should be high on this list.
Job of being a mom.
Yes, all they do is yell and get yelled at.
Yeah, moms, they take some punishment.
You never yelled at your mother.
Never.
I yelled at my friggin' mother. So again, it's not so much you and your coworkers yelling at each other. These are people that kind of take a verbal beating from society. Well, but then again, this one's a little different because military is in here. Being yelled at is expected, especially in basic training. So there's one exception there where, you've got the drill sergeant or whoever.
Oh, Jesus said he got yelled at all the time in the Marines, and he actually got punished for not yelling enough.
I'm sorry, he got punished for not yelling enough?
He said you actually got punished for not yelling enough.
You needed to show some spirit?
Ooh, HVAC delivery Jesus said a delivery driver, try being that, constantly yelled at for other people's mistakes. And he has to remind him, hey, I'm just dropping it off, man. I didn't make that mistake.
Exactly. I remember watching Full Metal Jacket for the first time. So I was probably, 9th or 10th grade kid. When did that come out? 86, 87, Full Metal Jacket. Love that movie. Absolutely love it. Dark, yet a great, great movie if you haven't seen Full Metal Jacket. And I was watching it with my dad, who was a Vietnam vet. And the opening scene, the drill sergeant scene with Arlie Ermy, who was just, my God, in that movie. He was the most frightening man in America. And I turned to my dad and I said, was it really like that when you were in boot camp? And he said, yeah. He said that's just how they operated back then. They broke you down to nothing. That's how they start with you. Okay, we all know this to be true. Talking about the jobs that require a high tolerance for being yelled at. Referees.
Yeah.
Man, unfortunately, you see it a lot.
Yeah, and
You don't get paid much. I mean, it's usually younger kids out there. They get like $11 an hour or something like that.
it's one thing if you're a major college or professional referee.
Absolutely.
Expect to take some grief from these prima donna athletes and douchey head coaches and guys like Deion Sanders and Bill Belichick and God. But it's where it's totally unfair is the youth referees, and we all know how terribly they've been abused over the years. Although I was one of those kids that never respected a referee, ever. He was a target to me, the referee, so I get it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I feel like I need to track down some of the youth referees when I was a kid, and I'll take them all out for beers or something because I was a dick to them.
I always had respect for them.
Ugh.
I don't know. I was always afraid to yell at other adults.
Yeah, I never would do that either.
I was afraid my mom and dad would just kick my ass.
Oh, my parents would have for sure.
Yeah.
You didn't treat adults that way.
A lot of quiet car rides home, Ashley. A lot of awkward car ride home from sporting events when I was a kid.
No Game Boy for you, Dana.
No. Nintendo 64 controllers got taken away and hidden.
Corrections officer Jesus would like to join this conversation on jobs that require a high tolerance for being yelled at. He says, no one ever yells at me. It's all rainbows and unicorns over here. I don't know how the hell that did. Well, I mean,
I can't imagine having the balls to do that type of job.
hell no.
You got to be brave.
Well, cops is next on the list, so let's lump you in with that group, corrections officer Jesus. I think we have to lump you in with that group. Oh, God, and still, I don't quite have the grand obsession I had with it a couple weeks ago, but I told you that a couple weeks ago I became obsessed with watching cop videos on YouTube where entitled douchebags just make the officer's life as impossible as can be. I've started to dwindle a little bit, Josh, but it is amazing when you see the way people operate around cops.
You're not giving those people enough credit. You got to understand, they know the law better than the cops. They also are directly responsible for that cop's lifestyle because they pay the salary of that police officer. Oh, and they've got camera phones, because they just put it in their face. They put it right in the cop's face and yell at them from the get-go, immediately enraged.
Damn near every one of these videos that I've watched, the entitled douche barrel fires up his cell phone as if they're the first to have that idea to record the I'm recording this, and every friggin' time, and the cop says, well, yes, so am I.
Yeah, they point to their body cam like, we both are.
They all think, hey, I'm going to be the one to record this interaction on my cell. Every time. Or they got their friend on the phone. Yeah, hang on a sec, I'm talking to my friend. He knows a lawyer. Yeah, so they got me pulled over. Yeah,
I hate that.
I know they can't do that. Oh, I know they can't take me out of my car. Yes, they can.
9 times out of 10, when somebody says, I know my rights, they don't know their rights.
They don't know anything.
They don't understand it.
All right, cops. Again, like I said a few minutes ago, some of these gigs, I don't know how the hell you do it. Healthcare workers, right? Because the new trend is to not believe at all in anything that doctors tell us, and it's all a scam, and it's all this and that, right? So healthcare workers get yelled at all the time.
Rambling Jesus said paramedics, that patients can be dickbags.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
I've obviously been to the doctor more than usual lately.
Anyone in Hennepin County?
Because of being pregnant, and the most of it I see is people treating like the receptionist or the front desk person at the hospital like complete crap. Like they have anything to do with how fast you get seen.
Yeah, I don't really get it. I mean, maybe just picture that person as a loved one of yours and treat them that way, because it's somebody's loved one most likely. And like you said, people the misplaced rage and anger, I'll never understand.
I've seen people even mention, well, I pay this and this for my insurance, so I should be seeing. Like, all right. Other people need to see the doctor, too.
Oh, you're the one with insurance.
Oh, no way.
Oh, I've been waiting to meet you.
Let's compare insurance.
You're the one who has insurance. Healthcare workers, I said that. Pharmacists.
Yeah, I suppose along the same lines.
Yeah, the wait time.
The wait time, sure.
And then getting something filled, and they got to go through the doctor to get it filled, and all that type of stuff.
Huh?
Yep. Or if it's a really expensive medication, and we were just talking about insurance, you don't have insurance, and it's like $3,000 for some meds.
Here's an EMT that said, I had some lady tell me to S my own D for about an hour.
Dang.
Look, lady, if I could, I wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Yeah, no kidding.
You're just trying
You go ahead
to
and
save
S.
some lives.
S your own D.
He would be making a lot of money on OnlyFans if he could do that. We've all tried.
I've never even thought to yell at a pharmacist. Social workers is a high-stress environment, they say.
I can't imagine doing that job. That's another job that you have to be really strong for that.
Yeah, you're walking into a bad situation probably every time.
Of course, anyone who works for an airplane.
Oh.
Or how do you say it, Josh? An airline. Specifically, the gate agents is the wording they use here.
Well, you see a lot of that nonsense.
They've been saying on the news that it's going to get a lot worse because of the real ID situation, what ID you actually have to be able to get on an airplane. The deadline is coming up. I don't know all the specifics, but they said it's about to get worse at the airports.
Oh, good.
Red Butcher Jesus said, my job, like a lot of jobs, was one where you're yelled at constantly, justified or not. Now I'm in their position, and it's not allowed anymore, and that's not fair.
That does suck.
But I want to yell at people.
I mean, 25, 30 years ago, you could yell at your coworker. You could yell back and forth. And although it's ridiculous, really, when you think about it, You never should really have to be yelling back and forth. But now, I mean, I'm afraid to raise my voice to a coworker because, I mean, it's just a different vibe. Everyone is so sensitive.
You get sued.
Yeah, right.
I'm not... real quick, I'm not fat, I'm aerodynamic. Jesus said he used to be a New York garbage man, and customers would yell at him, and then he'd remind them that garbage trucks can make deliveries as well. I could deliver this garbage.
That's a great line. Finally, on this list of jobs that require a high tolerance for being yelled at, I suppose this would be maybe your boss yelling at you. Line cooks.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, I should have thought of that. Working in restaurants.
That's a case where
That's high stress.
the boss is
Servers yelling at you,
Yeah,
too.
everybody's getting yelled at. I can't imagine our current bosses yelling at all.
No, they're not the types. But years ago, oh, man, there were times when Josh and I would be sitting here in the studio and we would hear something begin out in the hallway. And remember this, Josh? We would pretend like we had business in the hallway so we could hear the adults screaming and raging and the name calling. And this is funny. Not necessarily a job, but this listener says, holding the flashlight for my dad.
Yes.
That's when he heard the most yelling. You never held that flashlight correctly for your dad. Not
Not in
once.
that situation.
Getting hollered at. Big AC/DC show tonight. We were talking earlier, Josh left the house last night to actually go out on a school night. Went out to the Pigs game. You don't normally like to head out the house on a school night. I'm holding off on the AC/DC show for the same reason tonight. It's just too much. And it sucks that I've hit that mark in my life where now, I'll miss out on a big concert just because it doesn't work.
It's humbling.
It doesn't work for me anymore. Doesn't work for me anymore to be out that late on a weeknight. But I'll tell you, I'm very, very excited for all of you who are heading out to that show tonight. Love that band. And if you don't like this kind of information before you go to a show, then turn us off for a minute. I am the type of guy that likes to look up the set list ahead of time, and obviously things can change, but an AC/DC hasn't played a show in a while, in a few months. Let me look exactly when it was. Not since last summer, according to a website I'm looking at. So this is their first show in a while, and set lists obviously can change, but if tonight's set list is anything like what I saw them put together last summer, this is just the kind of thing I was talking about a couple months ago, Josh, where I was talking about I love it when a band, especially a band who's been around for a long time, doesn't just come out, prance around, play the hits, and go home. They play some deep tracks. Well, if this set list tonight is the way it was a few months ago, and you're an AC/DC fan who likes to hear some deep tracks, you're going to enjoy yourself tonight. The last time they played a show, they started with one of my favorite all-time songs they've ever put together, a little song, Josh, called If You Want Blood, in parentheses, You Got It.
I know more young people going to the show than folks our age. You would assume it's all people, in their 50s or something going to the show. But I know quite a few people in their 20s that are going tonight.
Probably because their moms and dads says, look, you probably only got one crack at this.
I'm sure, yeah.
Again, I'm not trying to spoil it, but I'm seeing songs like Sin City. Another one of my all-time favorites. Maybe this is my favorite. Riff Raff. So there you go. That's the kind of thing I get pretty excited about. And I hope everyone has a blast tonight at the AC/DC show.
I was looking at that little pop-up they've got at the machine shop.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know if you guys saw any photos of this.
I did.
It looks awesome.
It looks so cool.
If you're an AC/DC fan especially, or, just somebody, maybe you'd get into them if you saw this. They really did a nice job.
What's the name of the bar again downtown?
Machine Shop.
Machine Shop. They got that going. They started it yesterday.
Yeah, it looks cool. It looks really cool.
Tons of merch, tons of cool things to look at, free tattoos, like everything.
Real tattoos?
Real tattoos.
They're giving you free tattoos.
That's what I read, yeah.
What the hell? Riff Raff, they say in the song, Josh. Go ahead and laugh yourself in half.
Riff Raff.
Ah, dang. See, now that I'm talking about it, I'm pissed at myself.
This is bumming me out quite a bit.
I should make a few telephone calls. What are you bummed out about?
Because I'm not going anymore because this place sucks.
Oh, wow. What does this place have to do with it?
Getting promised something and then not getting what you were promised.
Yeah, Ashley was promised. You asked a long time ago, right?
It's been a minute.
And you requested some tickets. They're like, we got you. No problem. And then you find out yesterday, yeah, we don't have you. We dropped you. We dropped you right on your face.
I wish I would have known earlier. I would have bought some.
Wisco Welder Jesus said he's 29, taking his 8-year-old daughter to the show tonight.
That's
great.
Cool.
That'll be a great memory for her.
That would be a hell of a first concert story if it is her first concert.
Have at it, everybody, and have a great time. Be careful. We got to take a break, Ski. I guess we got to call the promotions department and make a complaint on Ashley's behalf. And the stupid news will be coming up here in a few minutes on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Idly-ho, neighborinos.
93X.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
Well, there's my beautiful podcast, people. Everybody good? All right, great to hear. Thanks, as always, for listening to the podcast. And, of course, thanks to our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for making it all possible. Can we believe it's April already? And like the old saying goes, April showers brings gross, disgusting humidity and heat in May. Beat the heat and the summer rush. Have Standard Heating and Air Conditioning out to work on that AC soon. April is the best month to get your air conditioning wrenched on before the huge summer rush starts. So get on that today. Go to standardheating.com and schedule that AC tune-up. Thanks for listening. We love you podcasters. Enjoy the show.
Are you someone who tries to drive while distracted by your phone? Someone who props it on the steering wheel or peeks down at it for a glance? Or just scrolls and scrolls? If so, you could be the next person to get into a fender bender, get a ticket, veer off the road, or even cause a crash that kills you or someone else. Enough already. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
This is Woman's Work with Nicole Khalil.
I would rather have the temporary pain of discomfort than the avoidable pain of regret. There are too many of us that we're waiting for someday, and the clock is ticking.
Redefining what it means to be doing woman's work.
Make sense of this wild, chaotic, and beautiful world and your place in it. That is woman's work.
This is Woman's Work from Believe. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
All right, let's get it going. You ever see someone walking butt-ass naked down the street, Josh?
Never in person. Close. Half naked.
Half naked. What half?
The top half was a lady. Top half naked, wearing a very short skirt, no underpants underneath. But she had a reputation in the neighborhood.
Oh, the old crazy lady in your neighborhood that used to show you guys her bush.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Anyone else? You ever seen someone walking butt-ass naked down the street? I don't think I've ever seen that in person. Or if I have, I've forgotten about it.
Go ahead, Dana.
No, actually, you go.
Campgrounds don't count. Pantless?
Yep, they were on the streets in the city. I can't remember if it was Minneapolis or St. Paul. And then I got to watch them defecate. That was something to see.
Yeah, there's a guy, my last neighbor that I lived in. He had long black hair, and he wore a robe that was always open. And barefoot, everybody called him Uptown Jesus, and he would just, not related to the Jesus names here on this show, and he would just walk around, just dong out, robe swinging, and just was always just kind of around.
Was it something to see?
Yeah, no, not really. It was very hairy, Ashley. Tough to really see much other than just a lot of shrubbery.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to break through that.
Yeah,
I have to keep it tight for that reason.
Tell me about this defecation now, Ashley. So it was a naked man you said bottomless
woman,
bush and the whole works.
Yep.
And then she squatted on a sidewalk and pooped for everybody.
She actually did it on top of a vehicle.
Oh, no.
And I was on a rooftop. I was at a concert, and the smoking section was on top of her. So I was just, looking down at all the people on the street, enjoying the beautiful night. Wait a minute. Is that lady not wearing pants? Wait a minute. Okay, where are the police? The police never came. She just moseyed on. her way.
Maybe she also had a reputation in the neighborhood.
It wasn't a
Yeah.
Chicago sunroof, was it, Ashley?
No, it was. Oh, that would have been so fun to see.
For those that don't know, a Chicago sunroof is when you take a number 2 into an open sunroof. And just let the turds hit the inside of the car.
The worst part is that I was the only one up there. So I was the only one seeing this happen, and I didn't have anybody to share it with.
A lady pooing on the lid of a car.
It seems like moonroof would be more appropriate for something like that. But sunroof, huh?
Yeah.
It's a missed opportunity.
In the right situation, that does sound like fun.
As long as you're a safe distance away, like you were, Ashley.
Yeah, sure. Someone walking ass naked down the street. In the right situation, that does sound like fun. In a place called Wayne County, Kentucky, cops had to go ahead and arrest a feller because he just upped and walked along a highway, swinging, completely naked. And the guy has a name that leads you to believe he's a somebody. He goes by the name James K. King. You know what I'm saying? Sounds like a movie star or something. But he's not a movie star. He's just a drug addict lunatic. When the cops walked up on James K., the K stands for erection. When the cops asked him what gives, he said he was, quote, going to get some pants. But that's not how we do that. That's what he said. He's going to get some pants. Cops said he appeared to be effed out of his mind on street dope. James K., he got all uppity. Now the K stands for concussion because the cops had to beat him into oblivion. James K. is a career derelict, drug addict, butt lord. He's in and out of court constantly for drugs, this, and drunkenly disorderly that. The K stands for can't get right. As far as I know, though, this is the first time that one of James K's drugged up or drunked up adventures has included his exposed limp genitalia.
You're assuming limp. Because in my mind, it was completely different than limp. I read into that different.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So this guy's been a problem.
K stands for kickstand because he was carrying around a kickstand of that thing.
This guy's been a problem in this neighborhood for years. But like I said, I believe this is the first time that he's gotten his gear involved. Yeah, I've never seen that.
I'm glad you haven't.
Not on a street. Like I said, when I asked you the question, you ever seen anybody ass naked out on the street? I don't remember plenty of head-to-toe naked people at places like campgrounds and beer parties and things like that, or resorts and, vacation spots. That doesn't count. Out on the street. No, I don't think I've seen that. Not even bottomless.
Seen a lot of videos. I'd imagine you've probably seen a lot of videos as well.
Yeah.
Streakers and whatnot. Oh, I forgot. I saw a streaker at a soccer game, a high school soccer game.
What the hell were you doing at a high school soccer game?
It was at our high school. They were just playing. It wasn't really necessarily on purpose. They had one. I was there, and I was told, hey, look at the field for a second. You're going to see there was some twins that they would, both of them were a little wild, and they said, hey, look for one of them. He's going to go out there and do something, and then somebody was streaking by, and that was him. And this was back when streaking meant you were naked. Now they'll say, ooh, streaker out at the Target Field, and it's just a dude with the shirt off.
They're doing it all wrong now, the way they define streaker. It's frustrating. And although this doesn't count by my own rules, you don't count campgrounds or resorts or beer parties. We're talking about out on the street. Although this does not count, one of the more disturbing things I've ever seen as far as a naked person on the loose was at Moondance Jam, I believe. It was either that or Rockfest. But I'm going to go ahead and say Moondance Jam up there. And what's that godless town again? Walker, Minnesota. At the campground, we were rolling through the campground on a golf cart or something, and we passed by a campsite. And out of nowhere, seemingly out of the trees, emerged a younger man who had tucked himself back between his legs, like that scene from Everybody Loves the Lambs. What the hell was that?
Silence of the Lambs?
Silence of the... He had tucked himself back between his legs and then was chasing after our golf cart. And he's ass naked.
It's impressive, actually.
So he looks like the character from Silence of the Lambs, and he couldn't,
waddling after you.
Right. Obviously, he couldn't pick up much speed. But you know what I did, Josh? It was kind of mean. I gave him zero reaction.
Oh, that is the best possible solution there.
For whatever reason, I decided, that can be satisfying sometimes too, when there's someone at a party or something who's obviously just dying for a reaction and dying for attention, and you give them zero reaction. Maybe I should have laughed at this guy or said, oh, God, that's great. But I decided to give him zero reaction, and I saw kind of all the excitement fall out of his face.
That's a lot better than being rude to somebody or yelling at them, because that's exactly like when they're fishing for something, you just don't provide anything.
I looked at him like I would have looked at anybody else.
The best example of that is a story you guys tell about the guy who jumped off the boat cruise and expecting everybody to oh my gosh, you're hilarious, you jumped off the side of the boat, and everyone's like, that guy's an idiot.
Right.
And then promptly got arrested.
There was not one person who thought that was cool.
No.
He didn't even have one fan in the audience.
I kind of, now that I'm thinking about it, I really do enjoy giving the zero reaction. But here's another, speaking of nudity, public nudity. Josh will remember this on one of these miserable radio getaways where, Josh and I went to wherever we were, the British Virgin Islands or some miserable beach. So Josh and I represented Minneapolis, and then there's 5 morons from Chicago and 6 dickheads from Houston and 3 puke bags from
the Detroit guys.
Detroit. Right. And we're just having the worst time because it's radio people. And radio people are disgusting. And all these jagoffs are just, all we're doing is drinking, and everyone's trying to one-up each other. It was just horrible. There were 2 guys, Josh, I'm sure you'll recall this, 2 guys from Milwaukee. And they tried so hard the first couple nights to get everyone's attention. Look at all the shots we're doing, and look at the ridiculous clothes we're wearing, and look at it was just so exhausting. I think it was our final day there, and it's broad daylight, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We're all gathered around a pool, and here come the Milwaukee guys. They came running towards the pool. They're completely naked.
What?
And they jumped into the pool. And, of course, they expected us all to go, oh, my God, you guys are out of it's broad daylight. You're completely dead. So there was the sound of a splash, and they came up from under the water, and they looked at everyone, and we said,
just went back to your conversation.
All right.
Oh, that felt so good. So now that I'm thinking about it, I actually enjoyed the zero reaction thing.
And those Milwaukee guys went back and did their show and told that story in a much different way.
Oh, yeah.
About how everybody loved it. They were the crazy guys. Everybody was cheering them on.
And they got arrested.
Yeah.
And then...
They were like that the whole time. Those guys really wanted attention.
It just sounds exhausting for everybody involved.
Medical Device Jesus wants to know if we met a radio team from Detroit called Mike and Mike. No, I don't recall Mike and Mike. I recall Detroit people. I don't remember any of their names, but I can tell you for sure it was not Mike plus Mike.
Yeah, one of those guys was trying to convince us he was dating a star. Who was it?
Natasha Henstridge.
That's what it was, yeah. He was trying to tell us he was currently dating Natasha Henstridge, and this was when she was kind of, she was big at the time.
It was one of the worst lies, one of the worst BS stories I've ever heard in my life.
That was a Detroit guy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe he was getting catfished. Maybe he genuinely thought he was dating
There
her.
was no such thing as catfishing.
Wasn't invented yet.
No, this was 1999 or something. And he was the most average-looking, pasty white schmo you've ever seen in your life. And he said, I don't know about you guys, but dating a celebrity's not all it's cracked up to be. Hey, can I get another beer over here? Can I get another beer? Yeah, dating a celebrity, it's just not. And everyone kind of looked at each other as if to say, this guy's really trying to get okay, fine. You were saying something about dating is, yeah, me and Natasha Henstridge, we've been dating. And Josh said, no, you aren't.
Nobody bought that one. There's no way.
All right, speaking of bodies, here I am trying to be more body positive. Trying to be, day to day, more body positive. And then this here diner in Thailand has to come off all body negative. And I do not appreciate that. Not even a little bit. They got a lot of people hot over this gimmick. A restaurant in Thailand is being accused of fat shaming. They've put together a discount system over there where the skinnier a customer is, the bigger the discount they can land. So videos of this bit popped up on Instagram. And like I said, people are pissed. The diner over there, pulling this funny discount routine, goes by the stupid-sounding name of Chiang Mai Breakfast World. Breakfast World?
I kind of like how cheesy that is. Seems like something out of South Park.
You're right.
Doesn't it?
Don't let the third-grade quality name of the joint fool you. They do serve meals all day long over there, but they call themselves Chiang Mai Breakfast World. Here's how the discount works. They've set up what looks like bars of a jail cell that customers can walk through if they want a price break on their tab. The smaller the gap you can pass through, the bigger the discount you can receive. If you're real skinny, you can pass through the most narrow set of bars, and you can get up to 20% off your meal. The gaps in the bars get wider from there. 15% off is a little wider, 10% off is a little wider than that, and then 5% off. The widest set of bars to pass through has a sign that says, sorry, full price. Josh, you would struggle with this because you're fat.
I know. I don't think I'd be able to. I'd be paying a little overpriced.
Mm-hmm. I thought you just said you were getting more body positive over there, Nick.
He's positive that I'm fat.
That's where, yes.
He's positive that my body is fat.
You're also screwed if you have any boobs or butt at all.
Yeah, there's nobody getting higher than a 5% discount unless they're on their last few days of life.
Yes.
That 10% discount, the next jump, a little kid would struggle getting through that.
Isn't there a place like this in Vegas? It's called like the Heart Attack Grill, where you get weighed out front.
I don't know.
Oh, I've heard of the Heart Attack Grill. I didn't realize they did that, though.
I haven't heard that story before, but Josh is right. Unless you've just been pulled off a desert island after spending 6 months there alone, eating your own feces and urine to survive, there's no way anyone's fitting through the 20% discount bar.
If you have a weird, very close relationship with a volleyball, you might be able to get a 10% discount. That got sexual, didn't it?
Oh, did he totally banged that volleyball.
He banged Wilson.
Mm-hmm. In the videos and pictures that I saw, everyone stopping by the joint for a bite to eat seems to be having a good time with the gimmick. But Ashley, you're right. If you got rack or back, you're going to struggle with this. In one video, a foxy lady is able to slip through the 15% bars, just barely, and you hear her boyfriend say, I didn't think your boobs were going to make it.
Tire guy Jesus texted in, and he said at that heart attack place in Vegas, they weigh you outside, and if you're over 350 pounds, you eat for free.
Oh, really? So there's the opposite.
Oh, they're going the other way.
Well, the ground round back in the day, they used to weigh kids, and you would pay a penny per pound.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, so if your kid weighed 75 pounds, his meal would be 75 cents.
I never went to the ground round, but I do remember those commercials. Mm-hmm. What is that, a buffet? I guess I don't even know.
No, it was like a sit-down restaurant.
Big Tobacco Jesus said she loves the concept of the skinny discount. She's very slight. It can eat like someone 3 times her size, so the joke would be on them.
Well, good for you. Trying to make Josh feel bad.
Yeah, I'm paying full price or more.
By texting in about how skinny you are.
At least it's full price and not the biggest one isn't like you got to pay double.
here's the deal. Lots of the 8th graders and social media dorks are offended by this. They're calling it prejudiced against the plus-sized community. They say it promotes eating disorders. It depends on who you are, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose. It seems kind of funny, but maybe if you struggle, that it's not at all.
It says here now, a couple of years ago, I don't know if you recall this, a United Airlines airplane ride passenger said that airplanes should make their aisles wider for bigger ladies like herself. She said that narrow aisles on airplanes was, quote, discrimination.
Yeah, the more I think about it, I guess that could be embarrassing.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch that.
I wonder if do they have another entrance for that? I don't want to. I don't want to figure out my discount.
Yeah. I'll just happily pay full price.
I'll go through the normal entrance.
All right. Now, I hope you can forgive me for not knowing word one about whatever Minecraft is or the movie that's based on Minecraft. But on the topic of the Minecraft movie, there's been some problems at the theaters showing the film. And it's all because of the latest social media trend that teenage kids have dedicated themselves to in order to gain acceptance from their peers and complete strangers. So the setup goes like this. If you're a young kid, you get as many of your pals to go see the Minecraft movie in a theater. You get out your cellular telephone, of course, and you hit record. And then whenever Jack Black's character says the words chicken jockey out loud during the movie, you and your pals shoot out of your seats and scream and shout and throw popcorn and tear things off the walls until all that virgin energy has left your system.
That's just one of the theaters. Apparently, this is really sweeping the nation.
It's everywhere, Josh. The youth of the nation. We are.
Hey, we played that song.
So the more uncorked you become when Jack Black says chicken jockey, the cooler you are in the eyes of the social media crowd.
My youngest, he's played Minecraft before. That's not one of the games he was super into. I didn't realize there were bits along with this game. I guess I just saw him building things and whatnot.
Yeah, I've never played it. I know nothing about it, actually.
Never saw it. It got so mental once or twice at a theater in New Jersey, they had to up and ban children from seeing the movie without an adult sitting alongside them. The joint.
Chickens?
No.
I love that scene. The joint also said that unaccompanied groups of boys will not be admitted.
I thought they already had to be. Well, maybe it's after certain times you got to be chaperoned.
Yeah, I thought there was a rule, too.
Oh, I don't know the rules, I guess.
At least one parent.
Maybe this is nothing new.
Vertically challenged Sheeza said, if her 12-year-old says chicken jockey in this house one more time, I'm going to lose it. OMFG. I haven't heard that outside of the news story here.
In case you're not following the Minecraft thing, it says here, a Minecraft movie that's what it's called, a Minecraft movie, is based on the wildly popular video game. It opened in theaters last Friday, and it stars Jack Black as Jason Momoa. What do you mean?
What?
Jack
and
Black.
Jason Momoa?
Oh, I don't know. Which is which?
I think both of them are in the movie.
They're both in the movie.
Oh, so Jack Black isn't portraying Jason Momoa.
That would
Jason
be
Momoa
crazy.
is another character in the movie.
Okay.
That'd be terrible casting.
So it's happening everywhere now. The teenage kids, of course, they can't miss out on an opportunity like this. They're throwing themselves through walls. They're nut-tapping each other when Jack Black says, chicken jockey. The cops have been called once or twice. The movie's a big hit. They made crazy amounts of monies last weekend.
Oh, yeah. It's huge.
It was the highest grossing movie for opening weekend for a video game movie ever.
Yeah, they think this is going to go on to be something else.
I didn't realize it was so huge.
Well, it's the same old concept, really. This gimmick is the same old concept as the word of the day on the old Pee Wee Herman show, isn't it, Josh?
Oh, I loved that.
Oh, that was so fun.
Did you play along? Were you too old to play along?
I was too old for Pee Wee Herman. I mean, I liked Pee Wee Herman. I did. I thought he was funny. I saw his first movie. But no, I did not watch his daily television show or whatever it was, Saturday morning television show. I was too old for that at the time, but I remember that littler kids would sit in front of the TV, and at the beginning of the show, Pee-wee would give them the word of the day, and the gimmick was whenever he squeezes that word into the mix later on in the show, the child was to scream uncontrollably. And Pee-wee, I think I read in an interview, said he came up with that idea specifically to piss off his friends who had children.
It was perfect. We waited for that. I mean, that'll teach you to pay attention to a show. We waited for that to scream.
And you would scream your nuts off.
Absolutely.
A gal that I dated many years ago was a little bit younger than me, and she said she would scare her mother to death every time she watched the Pee Wee Herman show because she followed right along and screamed bloody murder when she heard the word of the day, and her mother would just come right out of her shoes. It's a fun bit. Pee-wee was such a funny guy.
Oh, man. I loved that show.
That character.
And the movies.
The movie was great.
I only saw one of the movies. His character was it was brilliant is what it was.
I'm way too young for that.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, he's always, just because I've only ever seen pictures, I've always felt uneasy about him.
I'm sorry, what?
I've always felt uneasy about Pee Wee Herman.
Like the character freaked you out?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know why. It's just his look.
Well, that was kind of what he was going for.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He was supposed to be the guy you shouldn't leave in charge of your children.
Oh.
That was his thing. He was. This is silly. On the godless internet, 2,000 people were asked which animals they thought they'd be able to outrun, and 2% of people believe they could outrun a horse.
Yeah,
Come on.
They're delusional.
Don't be friggin' stupid.
No, I don't think so.
That's why they call it horsepower and not human power when measuring speed.
2% of people say, yeah, I could outrun a horse. Get over yourself.
I'd love to see how many of these people are men.
Oh, absolutely all of them. For what it's worth, that's not how a grown person would put it, unless they're missing their front teeth. For what it's worth, the fastest horse ever recorded managed a speed of 40 miles per hour. More than 40 miles per hour. That's the fastest horse ever recorded. And if you remember that Olympic foot racer from a few years back by the name of Usain Bolt, the fastest speed that prick ever put together in a foot race was 28 miles per hour. So, pull your head out of your ass. You're not going to outrun a damn horse.
People are so weird about this kind of stuff.
Well, it's weird. Yeah, like how much pride,
Like people think they can wrestle alligators or, fight a wolf. No,
well, there
you
are
can't.
alligator wrestlers. But, it's funny how people get, just enraged that you don't believe they can beat a horse in a foot race. They've got two more legs than you do.
They do.
I'm sorry.
All right, where do you go with this
didn't
now?
sleep.
Josh. Josh is a little tired. He's going to holler now and again. 20 per 7. I got a fair amount of sleep last night.
Maybe you got too much sleep. You're not used to it.
27% of people are confident they could outrun a crocodile, which, by the way, can get up to around 10 miles per hour on land.
Yeah, those suckers look like they can get going pretty quick. I don't think I could run 10 miles an hour. Maybe that's slower than I think it is.
20% believe they could outrun an elephant, which can cut loose to around 20 miles per hour.
No chance.
So none of us are outrunning an elephant. 11% of people, I have no idea why this came up, but 11% of people said they could outrun a house cat.
Boy, I don't know. I've seen those things take off.
There's no way you're outrunning a cat.
They've got... just from the gate, they're gone.
Yes.
Yeah. They're very agile, too.
Light as a friggin' feather.
Especially a cat that just got spooked by something, too.
And the nonsense goes on and on from there. I was pretty quick when I was young. Not nearly the fastest kid, but I could get it cooking. But my legs gave out years ago, so I know my answer. The list of animals that I could outrun today is very brief. My list is more or less limited, I think, Josh, to cold-blooded, elderly, short-legged reptiles. Maybe like a dead tortoise or something.
Yeah,
Maybe
I could outrun anything dead.
The one that came to mind for me is Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. I feel like I could be Eeyore in a foot
Don't
race.
bring him up. That's going to ruin my day. Poor Eeyore.
What happened to Eeyore?
He's just always so sad.
And slow and doesn't move very much.
This is a huge spoiler, I guess, if you guys are planning on ever watching Blood and Honey, the dark Winnie the Pooh movie.
Save it because it's never going to happen.
Eeyore dies. He's not even in the movie because something happened to him. He dies and they eat him. It was it was the darkest start to a movie I've ever seen.
I was given the nickname of Eeyore years ago by a significant other and I'm somewhat familiar with Winnie the Pooh. I think I watched his television show once or twice as a kid. But I remember Eeyore was kind of a slow-moving. So I didn't really get the joke at first, but I was given the nickname of Eeyore by a significant other years ago because she said that my delivery is always kind of monotone and down here, and I don't say much. Well, at least back then, I guess, when we would be sitting in the apartment together, I didn't say much, and when I did say something, it was usually... So that was the gimmick there. She called me Eeyore.
That kind of makes me sad. I want to give you a hug.
Oh, it's okay. I didn't mind. 9 times out of 10, I said, remind me who Eeyore is again and what that means. But
the saddest little guy in the world.
That was the gimmick she put on me.
By the way, I faked every orgasm.
93X
Half-assed morning show.
Sports on the 93X Half-assed Morning Show.
Every day you got to wake up early, go to work, and you have people criticize you. You got people agree with you. And you got people that think they're smarter than you. This is just crazy there, man. I tip my hat to you guys because working on that day in and day out is not easy.
All right, that's former big league skipper Ozzie Guillen. Now he does television and such, and radio. He says that hosting a morning radio show is harder than managing in the big leagues. He could be right. I haven't managed a big league ball club in years.
You could easily if you wanted to get back into it.
Tell you what. Yeah, I don't know. Well, we appreciate the compliment, Ozzie Guillen. I think I sort of took that as a compliment. Should I, Josh? He said morning radio is more difficult than managing a big league effing baseball
I guess
team.
you could take it as a compliment.
It ain't easy. Boy, that Pigs game last night was like a porno movie. And I have no way to
I was trying to
defend that reference. I have no way to defend that.
It makes sense.
It was.
Well, both goalies were bukkake.
Yeah, money shot after money shot.
There were so many shots coming at
As
him.
soon as you thought you'd seen it all, something else would happen.
Yeah.
So, last night's Pigs game was kind of like an all-girl porno movie. And it went into overtime, and they beat the San Jose Sharks. Josh was there. It was debauchery at the X. I mean, they scored this many goals and that many goals, and then the Sharks say, well, we got a few goals. We can score too. And the Pigs say, well, we got these new guys back. You're supposed to let us have the time of our lives here. The new guys are scoring all the goals, and the Sharks said, no, we're going to force it into over. And then one of the new guys not new guys, but returning guys. I didn't mean to mislead anybody. The Russian kid, he scores. It was crazy.
So in San Jose, they don't have anything to play for, right?
Not a damn thing.
But they went for it last night.
Not a damn thing. We'll get into the details on what all the noise I was just making on that Pigs game, because it was something. Absolutely something. The Twins had a decent outing last night. Good things happening. Twins had a decent outing. They got a win in Kansas City. They'll play again today. And I just read that LeBron James has become the first pro athlete to be turned into a Ken doll. Does anyone have any action figures at home that they'd like? Maybe if you got your hands on that LeBron Ken doll, maybe the two of them can grind.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know about grind, but they could fight. I have an Arya Davari doll from his WWE days.
Oh, Arya will destroy LeBron.
Yeah, I bet he'd take him. I bet Michael Jordan Ken doll would be better, but no, LeBron doll at $75. What a bargain.
Oh, my God.
$75, that's what they want in trade when Walmart starts selling the LeBron James Ken doll. Ashley, do you have any dolls that LeBron could get it on with?
Not anymore. No, I got rid of those when I was about
What
13.
am I supposed to do if I get a LeBron Ken doll then? I want him to have sex with some other doll.
Well, you're already at the store. Just pick up a Barbie.
All right. suppose that's the easy answer. I lost my cool.
Which one? There's so many Barbies.
Actually, he seems more like a Brat Dolls type of guy. So.
Well, he is younger.
Sure. I don't know what that means.
Brat Dolls are like a more risque version of Barbies.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, they're what I grew up with.
The kind of women he sees in the club.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll pick up my LeBron Ken doll, my Brat doll, and we're going to put on something special right there at the house. We got to take a break. Josh's news report is coming up next.
93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Nice.
93X.
Nice.
Well, there's my beautiful podcast, people. Everybody good? All right, great to hear. Thanks, as always, for listening to the podcast. And, of course, thanks to our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for making it all possible. Can we believe it's April already? And like the old saying goes, April showers brings gross, disgusting humidity and heat in May. Beat the heat and the summer rush. Have Standard Heating and Air Conditioning out to work on that AC soon. April is the best month to get your air conditioning wrenched on before the huge summer rush starts. So get on that today. Go to standardheating.com and schedule that AC tune-up. Thanks for listening. We love you podcasters. Enjoy the show.
Are you someone who tries to drive while distracted by your phone? Someone who props it on the steering wheel or peeks down at it for a glance? Or just scrolls and scrolls? If so, you could be the next person to get into a fender bender, get a ticket, veer off the road, or even cause a crash that kills you or someone else. Enough already. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
Bravo TV star Lala Kent holds nothing back.
There's been so many times where I'm like, I apologize that I said that, but that wasn't meant for you to hear.
Feel you there.
How fun would it be to bring in some Bravo celebrities and make our own bracket?
Iconic.
All right, I'll take Dorinda, you take Sonia.
Sonia is who I wish I could be.
You and me both. I cannot be someone in the program. What's PTO?
Pay time off. See?
Oh.
You've never had a real job.
Give them Lala.
It is nothing but honesty.
You guys know.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
Law enforcement spoke with the informant. We knew when they were going to meet. We knew where they were going to meet. And once money was exchanged, we knew that charges were appropriate.
A New Jersey hairdresser decided the best way to handle a breakup was to log on to Tinder, not for love, but for murder. What happened there?
I don't know.
That was weird.
No.
The scorned 26-year-old tried to hire a killer through the dating app to take out her much older ex-boyfriend, a 53-year-old Philadelphia police officer, and, for some reason, his 19-year-old daughter. But there was one major flaw in her plan. Her would-be assassin was actually a confidential informant. I didn't know they had those hiding on Tinder.
Me either.
Prosecutors say she offered the fake hitman $12,000 for the job shortly after the breakup. She followed up with calls and texts and arranged to meet him at a Dollar General a few days later, where she handed over a $500 down payment, promising to Venmo the Tinder triggerman the rest. On Venmo, don't you have to put like what it's for?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to put something.
Just like maybe she has the little gun emoji and a wink.
The squirt gun emoji now?
That's right, it's the squirt gun. While some kinkier folks like to end their dates in handcuffs, she wasn't so lucky. Cuffs were involved, just not the kind that are fun and furry. After the handoff of cash was made, she was swarmed by officers who hauled her to jail. Adding to the mystery, the officer told investigators in September of 2022 someone firebombed his home with a Molotov cocktail.
God dang.
However, it's unknown whether that incident is connected to the current case. So far, she's been charged with 2 counts of first-degree attempted murder, 1 count of first-degree conspiracy to commit murder, and 1 count of third-degree possession of a controlled, dangerous substance.
You know, Cubby, that's interesting because last time I was at a dollar store, I was pretty certain there was a murder-for-hire plot being worked out in one of the aisles.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
A little shifty?
Yeah. I think that's what they were whispering about.
A 53-year-old woman from Connecticut's been sentenced to 12 years in prison after an incident at a local police department, one that miraculously left no one injured thanks to bulletproof glass, which did exactly what it was intended to do. In October of 2023, the mom walked into the Bristol Police Department, visibly distressed, intoxicated, and carrying a handgun. Without warning, she fired 3 shots at the front desk window, 2 more toward an interior door where officers stood there trying to talk her down. One officer returned fire from behind that door, but once again, the bulletproof glass did its job. which I'd imagine was kind of embarrassing for him. After the woman finally put the gun down, officers moved in, deployed a taser, and took her into custody.
What was on her mind?
Well, her defense attorney described her as someone with no prior criminal history, but overwhelmed by the weight of financial pressures, mental health struggles, and the challenges of caring for a disabled child.
Oh.
Wow.
Authorities later confirmed the weapon she used belonged to her boyfriend at the time, a retired NYPD officer.
So all of her pressures led her to believe that someone from the police force needed to die.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it was a suicide by cop attempt.
Oh.
Something like that. But yeah, that's two cops kind of associated with the first two stories. Like, what the hell? I'm just trying to live my life here, and these people are crazy. Jillian Schreiner, the wife of Weezer bassist Scott Schreiner, was shot by police and later booked for attempted murder following a chaotic traffic incident in Los Angeles.
Jesus, criminy.
On Tuesday, LAPD officers responded to a hit and run on a Los Angeles freeway. 3 suspects fled the scene, with one abandoning his vehicle and running into a nearby residential neighborhood. As police set up barricades and searched the area, Jillian, again the wife of the bass player of Weezer.
I tell you what, if I was in Weezer, I'd never get married. Oh, the chicks. Oh, man.
They might have a couple. By the way, I wanted to make a say it ain't so joke, but everybody else already did online.
Oh, they beat you to it.
Yeah, I was destroyed. Yeah, they got me quick. She reportedly emerged from her home with a gun and began shooting, presumably targeting the fleeing suspects, they believe. Officers ordered her to drop the weapon, but after she ignored repeated commands, police opened fire, hitting her in the shoulder.
They gave her multiple commands. Unfortunately, we have looked at some of the body-worn video. There is not a clear view of what she did with that firearm.
Shortly after, her daughter Lauren and a babysitter exited the house with their hands up, and they all surrendered to officers. One of the 3 suspects from the original hit and run was detained and later released by the California Highway Patrol. The other 2 remain at large. This guy also tried to give cops an assist.
I chased him down the side of the freeway, across the freeway, over a couple of fences, and then he had a bag and a sweater. I got his bag, I got his sweater, and me being so old, I couldn't keep up with the guy. I chased him to the park, I lost him.
The incident occurred just days before Weezer, scheduled to perform at Coachella's opening weekend.
If I had my choice of getting shot or going to a Weezer show, I think I'd go with getting shot.
I don't mind Weezer. They got a couple.
I guess I know. I know who I'm not inviting to that Coachella show that's coming up here in a little bit.
So if I got in my hand, I have a pair of Weezer tickets, and Nick has a pair of AKs.
Yep.
You're going to tell Nick just to put a couple holes in you?
Give me a cigarette and a blindfold.
But yet you'd walk into traffic for a Blink 182
no.
to go see Blink 182.
You have a point.
An evening soccer match at Como Park turned into a scene of panic Saturday when a car suddenly drove onto the field, weaving through a crowd of players and spectators.
Everyone just having like a really good time, and all of a sudden we just kind of see like a car coming out down like the little hill onto the soccer field, but they just kind of came down, did a few laps, and then went right back up.
Does anyone remember the stoned female character from that movie Knocked Up?
Not really.
No.
Okay, that was her.
Video shared with St. Paul police and posted to TikTok and 93X.com shows the vehicle entering the park soccer field and heading straight for the crowd, or into the crowd. At one point, the car appeared to deliberately swerve toward a person sprinting away. No one was injured in the incident. Still, those at the scene were clearly shaken, with more than a few hearts racing, pants pooped in, and nerves rattled. St. Paul police took over the investigation and are asking for the public's help in identifying that driver.
What the hell was that guy doing?
I don't know if they're just out there thinking they're hilarious or if they're really after somebody.
Just really hates soccer.
The video kind of reminded me of the old John Madden football games where they bring the ambulance out in the field and players would be kind of scrambling out of the way and it would occasionally hit a player. That was always the best part of the game.
Yeah, they would run over players.
This isn't exactly the kind of bad news you'd expect from your doctor's office. But thanks to an elderly ex-teacher's inattention to email attachments, he was diagnosed as a sick, disgusting a-hole. Barry Sussman, a 75-year-old former teacher and coach from Pennsylvania, accidentally sent a photo to a medical office which had only asked for a form. Instead of paperwork, they got a pornographic image of a child. which is why he will rightfully be going away for life.
What the hell's wrong with this guy?
Sussman was arrested March 19th after the photo he mistakenly submitted turned out to feature a pornographic image depicting a kid, not the follow-up document the clinic had in mind. Naturally, police got involved, and when they dropped by his house, he willingly let them look through his computer, perhaps not realizing just how much digital dirt they dig up. According to investigators, they found over 100 explicit images, including the one he accidentally sent. Cops also found a stash of physical DVDs with similar content.
This guy's going to get his ass kicked.
Oh, yes, likely so. When interviewed, he told police he'd been a high school and middle school teacher and coach for over 3 decades and had been collecting that type of disgusting material for about 20 years.
Oh, you freak.
And as they say, the guilty dog barks the loudest. In a related story, the vice president of the Buffalo, New York chapter of Bikers Against Child Abuse was arrested yesterday for sex crimes against children.
Oh, no. And he was the guy running?
He was the second in charge.
He was the one who was trying to keep, okay.
The 49-year-old was found to be in possession of child pornography following an Internet Crimes Against Children investigation. Again, the vice president of the Buffalo, New York chapter of Bikers Against Child Abuse.
I'll be dipped.
A 27-year-old Texas mother is facing DUI charges after telling deputies she was on her way to get her infant, only to be stunned when they informed her the baby was already in the car.
Yeah.
Around 1:30 a.m. Sunday, deputies pulled over a black Mercedes for failing to signal during a lane change. Behind the wheel was a visibly intoxicated woman who claimed she just finished work and was heading to get her 5-month-old child.
I'm going to get my baby.
But something didn't add up. They noticed a clear glass cup in the car filled with a red liquid, potentially alcohol. And when asked, the woman insisted she was alone in the vehicle. She was not. Ugh. After taking her into custody, deputies searched the car and discovered the baby was in the back seat.
Who put that baby there?
Facepalm emoji. To make matters worse, the infant wasn't properly secured in that car seat. Eye roll emoji. The child was transported to a hospital for evaluation and put in the care of a responsible party. Prayer hands emoji. Party hat emoji. 1:30 in the morning. A relaxing day at the beach took a terrifying turn for one Florida man who ended up getting an unexpected tire massage after a Jeep ran over his head. 33-year-old Colson Janey was trying to catch some rays Saturday morning when a 61-year-old woman behind the wheel of a Jeep Wrangler accidentally drove right over him while trying to park.
Hey, they're made for off-roading.
Yeah. She treated his head like a mogul there.
They're going to use that in a commercial now.
He lived to scream about it, quite literally, as witnesses say he was reportedly, quote, screaming bloody murder as the Jeep pummeled his face and body into the sand.
I guess I may be falling asleep for a little bit. I woke up to a tire coming over my head. It's like I had two brains. One brain was just screaming and just thinking of how much pain I was in. And the other brain was kind of being more rational, like, okay, like what's broken, what's moving. I look over my right arm and it's flattened. I look down at my leg and it's mangled.
So it was painful?
Yeah, he was in some pain.
Okay.
According to officials, the driver was attempting to back into a space when she veered off the travel lane onto a beach. Unaware, the man was lying directly in her path. So he survived the ordeal, as you heard. The driver stayed at the scene, cooperating with investigators. She showed no signs of impairment, but she was cited for careless driving.
Jesus, lady, get a friggin' grip on what you're doing. That's terrible.
My God.
The guy's on the beach.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this wasn't like sometimes you'll hear like, somebody's patrolling the beach. They're on a four-wheeler or something. They're supposed to be on the beach. No, this lady was supposed to be in a parking lot.
Well, you've heard the story a million times on this radio show. One of the most surreal things I've ever seen in my life was a young woman get her skull run over by a car and live. A 87 Isuzu Trooper with 6 or 8 people in the damn thing ran over her skull.
Oh, I'd imagine just the fear of what you were going to witness there.
Oh,
yucky.
And she lived. And, I mean, wasn't even sprained neck, slight concussion. I mean, it was a friggin' miracle.
Today, sirens across Minnesota will wail louder than Nick did after the Timberwolves meltdown Tuesday night.
Jesus Christ.
But no need to panic. It's just a statewide tornado drill, part of Minnesota's annual Severe Weather Awareness Week. Outdoor sirens scheduled to sound some simulated tornado warnings at 1:45 p.m. and again at 6:45.
When you hear sirens, there should be other things going off. Perhaps your phone's going off, the radio and TV are going off. So you should be able to find some information.
The first drill is intended for businesses and institutions, while the latter is for second shifters, families, and people who like loud noises.
I don't know what we're yelling about! Loud noises!
Minnesota averages 46 twisters a year, according to state officials. In 2022, that number spiked to 83, which was the most since 113 touchdown in 2010. Tornado season typically runs from May through August, though Mother Nature doesn't always stick to the calendar. Storms have hit as early as March 6th and as late as December 15th.
Jeez.
The state's deadliest tornado struck St. Cloud and Sauk Rapids April 14th, 1886, sadly killing 72 people. A grim reminder of how serious these storms can be, even in a state better known for blizzards and first-round playoff exits.
Does anybody else's dogs lose their damn mind?
Oh, yeah. They howl. I love it.
I have two of them that howl, and one of them just barks. I'm like, come on, the howling is okay, but the barking, I can't do that.
Not a fan?
Nope.
There's a nifty tech upgrade this year. Hennepin County's rolling out a partial county alerting system through the National Weather Service. Weather radios will only alert people in the actual path of a storm. So if you're 30 miles away and you don't need to panic, you won't have to. It doesn't have to be an ultra-high-tech system to stay safe in a storm, however. Officials say a simple weather radio is a great idea as well.
Weather radios are a really essential tool. Sirens help you outside. Inside, we like to tell people to get weather radios. It has an alarm feature, which is great, has battery backup. You can also get AM and FM radio as this, so it's really a very, very handy tool.
I'll get handy with your tool. Severe Weather Awareness Week is a good time to review emergency plans and practice how to respond if severe weather strikes.
I used to be so afraid of storms when I was younger. I would sit up and watch the radar. My mom works at a trucking company, and so they would have advanced radars there for the truckers, and I would call her all night long because I was so scared. I used to throw up because of how terrified I was of storms, and one day it just went away, thankfully.
I grew up with a buddy who was petrified by the tornado sirens. It was a lot of fun to watch.
I forget. I'm sure I've asked you this when you've told the story before, but did he have a bad experience?
No, it just freaked him out. No, he had no bad experience. It just was very frightening to him, the thought of a tornado rolling through town. And any time the siren went off, he was convinced that it was going to come right through his backyard. The funniest thing I ever saw him do was we were playing Little League Baseball, 5th grade, and he was the catcher, and the tornado sirens went off, and he ditched all of his gear and ran for his dad's car in the middle of the game. Yep. Come on. And he's like, come on, everybody, get out of here. Like the damn thing was closing in on us, at that very moment. It just scared the hell out of him. That's all. I can't explain it any further than that.
Yeah, I have no reason either. I'd never had a bad experience, and my parents were never the type to freak out, but
he could not believe
made me sick.
He could not believe that the rest of us remained on that ball field.
Well, I told you guys before, my mom's terrified of them, but there was a tornado that went through her neighborhood. She lived in Iowa growing up.
Yeah.
So she was terrified since then.
Did you ever tell her to toughen up a little bit?
All the time.
Grow a pair?
Under my breath so she wouldn't hear me. But yeah, I would say some things. Now streaming on Netflix, the 7th season premiere of Black Mirror. And debuting today on Max and HBO, the 4th season premiere of Hacks. Charlie Hunnam, Jax on Sons of Anarchy 45 today.
Never saw it.
Sons of Anarchy?
No.
That's a couple episodes.
Our dog is named after that guy.
Charlie?
Mm-hmm.
Is that true?
Yeah, it is.
Your wife has a crush on him?
Huge crush on that guy.
Well, he's a handsome fellow.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Hopper on Stranger Things, David Harbour 50, Steven Seagal 73.
Oh.
You saw it. You saw Steven Seagal.
I just watched Out for Justice last weekend.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, when he goes after that fat dude who's on crack. You know who I'm talking about.
Thank you to podcaster Norwegian Jesus keeping up with 93X in Norway. Happy birthday to Willie, turning the big 07 today. Dad, big bearded Jared, asked me to tell Willie to have a Willie nice day.
Cute.
Shut up.
You love it.
Happy birthday to Dumbass Welder Jesus. Happy birthday shout out to Brian, the three-legged stool from Wants to Boink Josh's Mom Jesus. Happy 54th to Tracy from your son Hatch Daddy Jesus. And that's 93X News.
Randy Shaver.
That's the guy. That's the guy whose chin looks like balls.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
At center point, wristing a shot, knocked down in front, rebound, they score! It's a hat trick for Joel Eriksson. The power play connects again, and the Wild have a 6-4 lead. Back of the net, Matt Boldy danced it free, Eriksson scores! It's a 4-goal game for Joel Eriksson.
Yeah, it's one short of my record. Let's welcome in the endorsement. The endorsement king of 93X, Randy Shaver. How you doing there?
The what?
Endorsement king.
Okay.
You endorse every product on the radio now.
I think you have more commercials on right now than I've ever had my whole time being here.
I have not heard. I did not hear any today.
We gotta eat too.
Oh my God. Okay.
Hi, Randy.
Good morning.
That Pigs game last night in St. Paul against the San Jose Sharks was a full-on 3D bareback goat rodeo. It was debauchery.
Bottom line, though, they win, and that's huge because I think they have 3 games left in the regular season.
Yes.
And Calgary is only 5 points back. So
Calgary lost last night. Peterborough and Calgary lost last night.
Right. Yeah. And they still, everybody else has been eliminated now. Calgary is the only team left that could possibly pass either the Wild or St. Louis for that final wild card spot. So big win last night for the Wild in a crazy game. And hopefully that'll be enough to get them into the playoffs.
15 effing goals in one hockey game. Now, Josh, Josh went to the game last night, which was a headline.
He did.
This is headline news. The man left the house after dark on a weeknight.
Wow.
Doesn't happen often.
When you and the wife were taking one-hitters back and forth on the way down to St. Paul, did either of you discuss 15 goals in one hockey game?
No, as a matter of fact, so my mother-in-law was with us, and it was her first ever hockey game. She's never, outside of, going to the kids' games, she's never gone to a professional hockey game.
What a lucky break.
And yeah, what we told her, we said, hey, don't get used to this. You're not going to see this in a game ever again.
Yeah.
That was a great night. It was so much fun.
The Man Bear Pigs got the Russian kid and Eriksson Ek back into the mix last night. And those two fools, I mean, they made sure to remind us what they can get done when they're not in the hospital.
Yeah, no kidding.
What do I have here? The Russian kid scored a couple of goals, including the overtime winner on a pretty one-timer. Eriksson Ek, like I said, one short of my record. He had 4 effing goals.
On that 4th goal, he looked as surprised as anybody else.
I missed it. What did he do?
His face was awesome. Just like
you got to be kidding me.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
After the 4, and some of his teammates, same thing.
Matt Boldy had 4 assists, and then you had a kid on the San Jose club by the name of Calabrini or something who put 5 points on the board. He had a hat trick plus 2 assists. The Pigs pumped a good 40 or so shots on net. It was a porn shoot.
I thought I heard the radio guy say that, what's the name? Say it again?
Calabrini?
Yeah,
Celebrini?
Yeah, that the last time he got a hat trick was also the last time Eriksson Ek did. Like, they had one at the same game once before.
Oh, crazy.
F me.
Well, bottom line, big win, huge win. And hopefully it will be enough for them to hold on to that final playoff spot.
Yeah, they got 3 to go, like you said.
I know they have Calgary next, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
At Calgary tomorrow night.
And you know how it goes. I mean, so predictable. You have 7 goals, and you think, well, this is going to go into overtime. Everybody, get comfortable. You're going to be here a while.
Yeah, I mean, eventually the Pigs take a 7-4 lead in the 3rd period. Everyone's laughing their balls off on the bench. The Sharks didn't think anything was funny about it. And they upped and scored 3 goals to tie the game at 7. They got some young kids in that team that can wheel. Their record sucks, but the San Jose Sharks, their coach probably said, hey, boys, the coach was probably impressed. Bad season for the Sharks, but their head coach, whoever he is, he must have been impressed by the fight that they showed last night.
Yeah, they didn't quit.
No,
that's for sure.
Goaltender Marc-Andre Fleury probably would have wanted a different type of game to represent what was likely his final regular season home start. But what are you going to do? Things got mental. What the hell is this? Will Smith had a goal and 3 assists for San Jose.
He looks different in person.
Does he?
Yeah. I kept looking around. People were saying that's Will Smith, and I thought, you're not going to fool me.
Will Smith.
Oh, he had a helmet on, Josh. It might have been tough to tell.
Yeah, that's what they were trying to tell me.
It was a hell of a game. Oh, speaking of Marc-Andre Fleury, he's been nominated for the Bill Masterton Memorial Trophy. That's another one of those sportsmanship-related awards that I'm not very fond of. Marc-Andre Fleury's been nominated for the Bill Masterton. Poor guy died young playing here in town at the old Met Center with the North Stars. Back in their very first season in 1967-8. If you're a younger person and you don't know the story, he got hit hard. He wasn't wearing a lid like most players in those days.
No, not in those days.
And he died at the hospital a couple of days later. I once heard someone here in town say there were 15,000 seats at the old Met Center, yet a good 1.5 million Minnesotans claim that they or a relative of theirs were at the rink the night Bill Masterton took that hit.
Sure.
You ever heard anyone tell that story? Yeah, my dad was there.
Yeah.
Did everyone see the video of the American Hockey League player who shoved a ref into the boards and then instantly regretted it?
Yeah, I was going to ask, so outside of boot hockey, I've never played hockey in my life. I mean, they say it was an accident. Is it possible that he was that confused and thought it was another player? To me, it looked like it was on purpose.
It was.
But like I said, I don't have any experience, so maybe it's easier than I think.
I've read an article. Randy, have you seen this video?
I have not.
You got to dial this one up.
Is it on your website?
Yeah. Yep, it is, Randy.
If you don't find it on our website, it's an AHL player by the name of Adam Beckman or Becker. I don't know which one it is. But apparently he's played a few games for the Pigs. I'll get back to that. But, Josh, I've read an article or two that says, he didn't even realize that was a referee in front of him.
That's what I had seen as well.
I'm not so sure about that. To me, it looked like a hostile act that he instantly regretted because after he shoves the referee all ass backwards into the boards, he instantly reaches out to assist the referee. I'm saying all this because when I was young, I did stupid things like that. I'd lash out and then instantly realize what I had done. I've been there, and his body language reminded me of a couple of the violent little meltdowns I had at his age, where you hit and you go, oh, God, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'd like to think a guy in pinstripes who didn't have a stick, I'd realize wasn't a player. But
he knew that was a friggin' ref. There's such a thing as peripheral vision. I've read a couple articles saying, well, he's watching the puck. He could see the referee in his path, for Christ's sake.
I mean, I'll have to rewatch it, but it looked to me like he looked right at him when he shoved him.
Yeah, this kid's been suspended 10 games for abuse of an official. God, I wish I could have gotten that on my record. It's funny, but not so funny.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
This was a game between someone called the Bridgeport Islanders and the Charlotte Checkers. Adam Becker or Beckman, a wing who they say has appeared in 23 games for the Pigs. I'll have to take their word for that. I have no memory of this kid pulling a pig sweater over his noggin. But the Beckman kid was pursuing the puck, heading towards the corner boards, when he encountered a referee skating backwards. He shoved the ref, who went sailing into the boards all sideways. He was not issued a penalty during the game.
Yeah, because the ref got knocked down.
Couldn't make a call when you're...
Tough to make a call when you got thrown into the boards.
But he's been suspended for 10 games. He'll miss the last 5 games of the regular season and the first 5 next season, if that matters at all to you.
He definitely should be suspended. There's no way that you did not know that that's a ref.
I agree.
He actually is looking at the other player, then turns his head and looks at the ref. I suppose it's possible that he thought it was an opposing player, but
No way.
Seriously doubt it.
No way. The guy plays hockey professionally every day. He knew who that was in front of him. To me, it looked like just a little spaz out, a little temper tantrum, followed by deep regret. Trust me, that's the majority of my life, is a small little spaz out and then instant regret. I know it when I see it.
All right, yeah, because like I said, that's what it appeared to me, but I thought maybe I don't have the experience, so maybe it's easier said that it could happen. But.
Sucks that it happened. I did not get any information on how the ref is doing because, I mean, he went in there pretty awkwardly.
It would have been pretty cool if the ref got up and they just started fighting.
And beat his ass. The ref just said, you know what? I don't need this aggravation. I'm going to beat your ass. Oh, man. Man, Randy Shaver. You ever have one of those moments when you were young, Randy, where, you flipped out and you said,
sure.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Yeah. It happens.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, Marcus Foligno brought this up on the air yesterday, this cute little gimmick that Budweiser is doing, honoring Alexander Ovechkin breaking Wayne Gretzky's career goals record by sending commemorative beer to the goaltenders that did not allow a goal against Ovechkin in their career. They had to have the goalies had to have at least one save against him needed. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have to have...
That's a lot of research by whoever sat down to figure all that out.
I don't know how they do it.
That's crazy.
I don't know how they do it. Every few days we read some ridiculous statistic. Who in the hell? How do you...
Longtime listeners may remember the guy we had that did the Denny Green impression for many, many years.
Yeah, sure.
That's what he did for the Vikings. I visited him at work once, and he kind of took me through some of those stats. They have any play on the field you can think of that changes the percentage of a win. I mean, they can tell you, like, if the fumble's recovered, if it goes for a touchdown, all these different things. It changes exactly how most games would go.
Well, and then they go back through each game, whether it's through the video of the game or that just looking through the statistics of the game. That's just a lot of patience and a lot of research.
Incredible to me that they can get so detailed.
Yeah.
So any goalie that at least had one career save on Ovechkin and no goals allowed got some beer from Budweiser. Now, something we didn't talk about yesterday when we were having this conversation with Marky Foligno. Only one of those 28 goalies ever wore a Man, Bear, Pig sweater. You want to try to guess, Randy Shaver?
I couldn't even.
One goalie from Man, Bear, Pig's history, and he was a marquee player. You know, he was a big part of that club that went to the conference final against the Ducks back when Jacques Lemaire was coaching the club in their second year.
I'm sorry, I don't.
Manny Fernandez.
Manny Fernandez. Sure.
He was the only Pigs goalie that got some beer from Budweiser because he never allowed a goal against Ovechkin. I remember Manny very well. 260 games in 7 seasons with the Pigs. He played for a few other clubs, too, along the way.
Sure.
In his time here with Minnesota, he played against Ovechkin only once. Ovechkin had 6 shots on goal in that game and assisted on one of the Capitals' goals, but never scored on Manny.
So, say that again. He played 7 years he played here. He only faced Ovechkin one time.
Yes.
Wow.
I'm guessing that's because...
And they only play him twice during the course of the year, so you're only going to get 2 shots at it,
and
one away and one at home. So
my guess is someone like Dwayne Rolison or Jamie McLennan, or who were some of the other goalies that probably took the brunt of Ovechkin. When he was playing for Boston in 2000+8, Fernandez suited up against Ovechkin in the Capitals. This time, Ovechkin had 5 shots and scored once, but it was an empty netter.
Doesn't count.
No, it does not. Devon, get the tables. Dubnyk allowed the most goals to Ovechkin while wearing a Wild sweater in 5 games against Ovechkin. Devon, get the tables, surrendered 20 goals.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Holy cow.
Dubnyk was not watching on Sunday when Ovechkin was loading up to break the record.
4 goals a game. Come on. That's crazy.
He was watching, drinking beer he had to pay for with one tear going down his eye.
I got to pay for this Budweiser.
Do I have that right?
That can't be right.
Well, that's what I found on the internet. I'll look it up again right now. Right now.
Wow. That can't be right.
I'm going to try it again.
I hope it is, though, because that's hilarious.
As soon as I said it out loud, I realized it sounded ridiculous. I'll find it here in a minute. But Manny Fernandez and Dwayne Rollison, I think we talked about this not that long ago. The Pigs have had some damn good goaltenders come through town.
Yeah, they have.
Backstrom and like that. Josh, you didn't happen to find that yet, have you?
Let me see if I can find it again.
Yeah.
My internet's going crazy slow.
I mean, that's not totally out of this world because Ovechkin's the greatest goal scorer in friggin' league history.
Yeah, but that's a lot.
20 goals in 5 games. Here it is. I'm going to find this for you.
How about the other way around? How about 5 goals in 20 games?
That's got to be it. Yeah, I just wrote it incorrectly. I'm going to look it up for sure, but that's got to be it.
Yeah, that's just...
10 goals in 5 games. I wrote 20.
Okay.
10 goals in 5 games.
Even that's a lot. That's a lot.
When you consider next on the list, Marc-Andre Fleury. Marc-Andre Fleury in a Wild sweater has faced Ovechkin twice and gave up 3 goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wrote it down incorrectly. Boy, I got a great Manny Fernandez-related story. I know I've shared it with you before, but in case you haven't heard it, a guy that I played beer league hockey with was the spitting image of Manny Fernandez when Manny was, 30, 32, 3 years old. And we were around the same age at that time as well. So this guy that played beer league hockey with me looked exactly like Manny Fernandez. And he came out to one of my bar gigs one night, this beer league hockey buddy of mine, Hefe. And Hefe's sitting around having a couple of beers. And just for a goof, I got on the mic, you do on those stupid bar gigs, giving away bumper stickers and terrible CDs and whatnot. And just for a goof, I said, hey, ladies, visiting tonight, in the house tonight, is none other than Wild goalie Manny Fernandez sitting right here. I'm joking around, and I motioned towards Hefe. All these women came pouring down onto Hefe's lap.
Oh, bet.
And it was so believable because there's no way you could pick the two out of a crowd. No way you could pick out who was who, Manny Fernandez or Hefe. And it starts to get a little out of control now. Everyone's taking pictures with Hefe, in parentheses, Manny Fernandez. Women are on his lap and giving them their phone number. And I thought, okay, this is getting out of control. And I walked up to Hefe and I said, do you want me to put a stop to this? And he said, if you stop this, I'll kill you.
I was just going to ask how he felt about it. He wasn't embarrassed. He loved it.
But it got out of control, Josh, where I'm sitting with Hefe, in parentheses, Manny Fernandez, and the bar owner comes over with a Wild jersey and says, will you sign this so I can put it up here in the bar? It's so cool that you've decided to come to our bar. And Hefe, I got to give him all the credit in the world. He was thinking on his feet. He says, yeah, the league doesn't allow that kind of a thing. And the bar owner said, okay, I'm sorry to bother you. I was just curious. I'm sorry. And so we went with it the whole night.
Speaking of Marc-Andre Fleury, I don't know if you've said this or not, but he played against Ovechkin 47 times. How many goals do you think he gave up?
Good question. Well, he gave up 3 as a Pig. 47 times.
47 times.
Okay, let's go with...
And he is the number 1 goaltender scored upon by Ovechkin. How many goals do you think he gave up?
I'll go with 54.
No, that's a lot. He's given up 28 goals in his career against Ovechkin.
Yeah, I'm not good at arithmetic.
Yeah, the most goals given up by any goalie versus Ovechkin.
Yeah. Last night was likely, I mentioned this already, likely his last home start, regular season home start, Andre Fleury. Did you see his kids in the crowd?
I did not, no.
I saw photos of him on the ice. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, cute.
Not during the game, of course. They weren't playing, but before the game.
The younger ones didn't seem to care, but one of the older gals was kind of emotional about seeing her dad skate off.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Oh, he got a nice reception for sure. And there's a couple times people were chanting his name.
That's the last time anyone claps for a goaltender that gives up 7 goals in one game. I'll tell you that.
Sure.
You should have booed him, Josh, just to be a prick. I brought my mother-in-law to see this.
This is not hockey.
Yeah.
Foligno gets bigger pops than even Gaborik. My God, Kaprizov.
I'm sorry, what about Foligno?
He got more crowd response yesterday than even Kaprizov. I thought people were going to go nuts when Kaprizov was on the ice.
No, they don't like Kaprizov. Hey, Marcus, you're welcome.
So many Moose chants.
All right, so the Twins had a decent outing last night in Kansas City. Hell, they hit a couple of dongs. Joe Ryan pitched 7 innings.
That was the key, Joe Ryan, last night, for sure.
Twins beat the Royals 4-0. Ryan gave up just 2 hits over 7 innings. He struck out 4, no walks. I didn't know this. He's 7-0 in 9 career starts against the Royals.
Wow.
With a 1.30 ERA.
Amazing.
So you had Julian knock in a run. Ty France was 3 for 4 with a couple RBIs, including a dong. Matt Wallner hit his first home run of the season.
Nice win. They get the day off today, and then the Tigers come to town for a series starting on Friday.
Oh, no, they play today.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they were off today.
It's a 4-gamer.
Oh.
Yeah.
My fault. I thought they were off today.
It's what you always call a businessman special.
That's right.
The 10 p.m. game.
The afternoon game?
Your erection.
Oh, you're right. 1:10.
Your hard-on for the Detroit Tigers got in the way of research there, Randy Shaver. Oh, you love the Detroit Tigers.
Well, the blood leaves the brain.
Yes.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it.
It's not your fault. It's science.
That's what it is. You love the Detroit Tigers, and they do come to town on Friday. But first, the Twins wrap up their 4-gamer with the Royals. Bailey Ober set to pitch.
God, let's hope he pitches better than what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
He needs a good game.
Pablo Lopez's groin, is it groin injury?
I think it's a hamstring.
Hamstring.
Yeah.
It's been defined as very mild.
But still going to put him on the IL. So he's going to go on the IL for, I think, a 15-day or a 10-day. So they'll call up Zebby Matthews to put him in the rotation.
Okay. That sucks.
But you know what? I'd rather have Lopez be hurt now than later in the year when they absolutely need him. It's not like they don't need him now, but it's so early that, we haven't even got to 60-degree weather yet, basically. So,
and I'd rather have it be a leg than an elbow.
Yeah, for sure. So I think when you consider everything, it's actually a good break for the Twins.
Speaking of the Twins, that Manny Fernandez scam I pulled off years ago at the bar because one of my friends looked a lot like Manny. I did the same thing with another one of my pals, Wang.
Love Wang stories.
Wang was not able to deal with this, but you know who Wang? He was not able to deal with all these women.
Shy.
He is shy. Wang, Randy Shaver, looked a hell of a lot like former Twins middle reliever J.C. Romero.
Wow.
And so one night we went to the bar and I announced Wang as J.C. Romero, and the women were all over Wang, and he got a little boner.
We did something once like that with a buddy. He didn't look like anybody famous specifically, but he has this look where he's cool, he's got tattoos, he's well-dressed. He looks like he's somebody that's famous. So he's talking to this girl across the bar, and one by one, we kind of go up there and be like, hey, I'm really sorry to bother you. I'm a big fan. Can I get a quick selfie? And then we take a selfie with them and then just walk away.
That's how you do it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That's a wingman right there.
Who are you? Well, I'm on The Real World on MTV or something. I mean... the Twins are going to do the Joe Mauer statue reveal thing on Sunday there outside of Target Field.
That's exciting.
Yes, it is.
Outside gate 34, Turkey Bucket.
I hope it looks like him.
Yeah,
I hope they don't butcher it.
That is a
I
big reveal.
hope it looks like him.
But that would be kind of fun at the same time, too, if it looked awful.
That's the thing nowadays is they reveal these statues for all-time great athletes, and if it isn't spot on, social media wets their pants. You know?
Yeah, well.
It's not the easiest thing in the world to do, to carve someone out of
for sure.
bronze or whatever they do.
Well, you think it'd be easier nowadays. I mean, shoot, you can get a bobblehead that looks just like you with all the AI and that kind of technology.
3D printing.
Mm-hmm. So, Joe will join Rod Carew, Harmon Killebrew, Turkey Bucket, Carl and Eloise Polad, Tony Oliva, Kent Herbeck, and Tom Kelly as Twins legends immortalized with a statue outside the ballpark. They forgot Calvin Griffith. Isn't he out there too? I thought there was
I don't think there is one of Calvin.
Oh,
I don't think so.
No?
I think just the Polads.
Oh, I thought Calvin was out there. Well, whatever.
Do you think they're going to have a full-time security guard next to that Mauer statue?
It depends what position he's in.
Like for bachelorette party?
You know, this is going to be the last statue for a long time, too. There's just not... I suppose maybe if you wanted to do one for Bert, that's a possibility down the road.
Sure.
Because he's a Hall of Famer. But if you think about it, it's probably the last statue for the Twins for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see them honoring Dave St. Peter in some way down the road, too, because of his leadership with the Twins.
Sure.
But as far as statues go, this is probably the last one for a long time.
You're right about the security, and actually, you're saying what kind of position he's in. I really hope he's standing up and not in a catcher's
position.
Yeah,
he's probably in his batting stance. Would be my guess.
Yeah.
Will they somehow make him out of reach? Will he be elevated to where folks can't get at him? We'll find out.
Yeah.
Folks, here's a text message that says, "Hey, is the Joe Matcher? That's not his name. Is the Joe Mauer statue going to be of him laid out on the trainer's table?"
Oh, come on. God.
It's never going to go away.
Come on.
I mean, I hate that kind of stuff. Trust me, deep down inside, I hate the grief that Joe Mauer got from some Twins fans his entire career because it was friggin' stupid and ridiculous, but that's a funny joke.
If they do broadcaster, Shotgun Messiah says he wants to see a big bronze dick out there in front of Target Field.
How big of a dick are we talking?
Well, life-size dick. He's a big guy. That's a big dick, right? You said you met him. How tall is Dick Bramer?
Oh, I'd say that's like a 6'2" dick.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
6'2".
He's a big guy. He's kind of a girthy dick, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, my God. What are you doing?
We don't know.
I think you know, Randy.
Sadly, I do know. Yes.
I would think it to be wonderful if there was a bronze Dick Bramer out front the joint.
But they've already honored Dick. He's got a plaque outside the press box. It's the Dick Bramer press box.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I mean, not press box, but broadcast booth.
But I want to hang out with his statue and
sure.
Folks expect.
What's step one, Nick, for a Dick Bramer in the press box? Step one, how do you get him in there?
Step one, how do you get Dick in the press box?
Yeah,
you gotta. Step one is to cut a hole in the box.
Yeah. That's how you get Dick in the box.
Oh my God.
Folks expected to attend Joe Mauer's ceremony. Justin Morneau, Paul Molitor, Tom Kelly, Tony Oliva, Corey Koski, our own Glenn Perkins, and then this must be a misprint. The paper said. Okay, Corey Koski, Glenn Perkins, and Mack, M-A-C-K. It simply here says Mack. We're not talking Shane Mack. Who the hell is Mack? I think it's a misprint, and they meant to print Herbeck. But that's just a guess.
I don't know about that.
Who the hell's Mack? Well, it should be fun on Sunday.
I don't know.
A lot of fun on Sunday. Joe Mauer deserves every little bit of it.
Yep, certainly does.
New York Yankees outfielder Cody Bellinger, we mentioned this quickly yesterday, has sworn off chicken wings for 5 years now, following his recent bout with food poisoning.
Quitter.
Wow, that's a long time.
I'd be right back at it the next day.
I can't imagine you giving up wings for anything.
No.
We mentioned this yesterday that the poor sumbitch Cody Bellinger got sick. He made this announcement yesterday. He's given up chicken wingy for 5 years.
That's so weird, too. I'm not going to eat them for 5 years. Okay.
He was hanging out in his hotel room in Detroit. Yankees were playing the Tigers a handful of days ago. Oh, it was Monday night because he was watching the NCAA basketball final game. And he ordered some wingy from the hotel. He said they were bone-in, no sauces, no spices or rubs, if that matters at all to you. And he said they were good going in.
It's always good going in.
But I woke up at 4 a.m. sweating, and I started throwing up for a few hours. It was a tough morning.
Ouch.
Yeah, wow.
5 years he's swearing off of them. He said because the thought of them make me sick right now.
Sure.
Figured out who Mac is, by the way.
There are certain foods when that stuff happens where you just can't even stand the smell of them anymore.
Onion rings.
Oh, really?
That's sad.
You got sick on onion rings?
I once vomited onion rings in high school, and I couldn't go near them for a good 4 or 5 hours. What were you saying, Dana, a minute ago?
I figured out who Mac is at the Joe Mauer statue.
Yeah, who's Mac?
It's Bill Mack. He's the artist who's done all of the statues, including the Mauer one.
Oh, well, F me running.
How dare you not pay attention to the local sculpture scene?
Yeah, Josh, onion rings made me... Well, it wasn't the onion rings. It was the 27 Keystone Lights and then the onion rings.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
It put me off of them for, I'd say a few months. It wasn't years. But the smell. Like, I think, Randy, didn't you mention the smell? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. There's two things. When I was sick with cancer the first time, I could not, and I loved fruit juice. Yeah. Drank it all the time.
Yeah.
When I was going through chemo, I couldn't stand the smell of it. It made me just like almost barf. And I don't know why, and I still can't stand it now. And when I was, I think, 17 or 18, I drank way too much whiskey on one night, threw up the whiskey, and I'm telling you, anytime there's whiskey around me, I'm gone.
Oh.
I can't stand the smell.
That's a shame.
It reminds me of that night. It's crazy.
Well, you know, the chemo
Those things exist, right?
Well, I've heard stories that the chemo and some of the cancer treatments can mess with your
it does.
Taste and your smell.
It does,
yeah,
for sure. And you know, things that, I mean, sometimes you can get over it. I just never got over that. I still don't. I've never had it since. It's crazy.
Sometimes just eating too much of something can have that effect as well. My wife used to love buttercream frosting, and for our anniversary one year, I bought a cake with buttercream frosting. She ate the entire thing, and she can't do it anymore.
Ooh.
She was like sick for 3 days.
Oh, man.
Hardcore Jason Jesus texted in. He wishes that it was Christy Mack attending Joe Mauer's statue ceremony.
Is that an adult movie?
Yeah, she's an adult actress.
Sign-making Jesus wants to know if the Joe Mauer statue will also have bilateral leg weakness.
Okay, all right.
One of my favorite eating-related stories from professional sports, specifically big league baseball, was a story about Terry Francona from a number of years ago. Now, I can't remember. Is he in the game still?
He is. He's back.
Back with the Guardians.
Guardians? I'm not sure he's with the Guardians.
Where the hell is Terry
He might. I don't remember. Sorry.
No, I don't either.
I think he's back, though. He's back managing.
Reds.
The Reds.
Yeah, there we go. He's back managing.
I love Terry Francona. How can you not? And he had a great story where when he was managing the Guardians, he's in his hotel room, you know, killing time, night before a game, and kind of a sponsorship deal, Josh. You know how that goes when you get some swag now and again from a sponsor. He gets a knock at his door, and some pudding pop type company who was affiliated with the Cleveland Guardians had sent boxes and boxes of these delicious pudding pops to the hotel so all the players could enjoy them. And they left an entire case out front of Terry Francona's stinking hotel room. And he said he couldn't help himself. They were so friggin' good. He was just deep-throating these pudding pops for hours and hours, and he couldn't stop. And he woke up, he said he woke up in the middle of the in the middle of the night, and he said he was convinced he was about to die.
Yeah.
I remember that story.
What makes it better
he said he went through like 45 of them or something.
Oh, my
like
God.
Holy cow.
What I love about that story is there's the manager that had no self-control. It wasn't, a 21-year-old rookie that was piling him down. It was the grown manager.
Oh, so it was 17 popsicles.
Oh, popsicles?
Yeah. And he said he spent the night trying, quote, not to paint the walls purple.
That's a lot of sugar.
And this is like a bald-headed, beer-bellied older man. Just going down on popsicles all night long while watching television. Randy Shaver, there was a historic college baseball game a couple of days ago. Small colleges. You've never heard of them. But it was notable, this college baseball game, between one team that had lost 99 games in a row.
Oh, my gosh.
And the other team was coming in having lost 42 games in a row.
That is good scheduling right there.
The good news is
somebody has to win.
Both clubs ended their losing streak. They split a doubleheader.
Perfect.
So both clubs, just in case there's someone in our listening audience that has any idea what I'm talking about, the club that had lost 99 in a row going into it are called the Yeshiva University Maccabees.
Maccabees.
And the club that had 42 losses going into it, the Lehman College Lightning. So they split. Is there a chance, Josh, they split this doubleheader on purpose? So they could just both stop talking about losing?
I wonder. Yeah, I hadn't considered that.
Did someone take a dive, Randy Shaver?
Like I said, that's great scheduling right there.
Nice gentleman.
They probably haven't won a game since.
Oh, well, that was just a couple days ago.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, just a couple days ago. The Wolves will try not to completely F everything up tonight playing at the Memphis.
I tell you what, they caught a little bit of a break last night. Golden State lost to San Antonio at home. And so now Golden State slides into the 7 spot. If they can beat Memphis tonight, I mean, theoretically, they should win their last 2 games against Brooklyn and Utah. Theoretically.
They should.
They will not be in the play-in game.
Okay.
If they can win tonight,
yes,
they should not be in the play-in game.
But it's one of those situations where they could end up 6th, they could end up 9th,
Sure.
Well, maybe not 9th and 10th
No,
are kind
not
of out
9th.
of reach.
No, 8's as far down as they can go.
Yeah, because
But wouldn't it be just typical Timberwolves if they played a monster game tonight?
Yeah.
Played great, won the game.
Yeah.
And then fall flat against Brooklyn and Utah.
Yes, it would.
That would just be so Timberwolves right now. Let's hope that's not the case, but tonight's game is monumental for sure.
I just looked it up. It's not till 8:30. Come on.
Well, you know
It's
what that
probably a
means?
national game.
It is. It's on TNT. They say 8:30. It's 10-9.
Yeah, it's probably a national game because there's just so much riding on this game tonight.
How many hand grenades does John Morant dump on them tonight? I hope not many.
Should be fun. Masters is underway. I know you're excited.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
The Masters golf event is underway this morning.
Shane Lowry all day, baby. Let's go.
Oh, nobody cares. But I did receive a text message from Babyface Destroyer Jesus. He says, in honor of the Masters tournament starting today, did you know that Minnesota has more golfers per capita than
Yes,
any
I knew
other?
that.
He says,
Oh,
state of hockey my ass.
That's really cool. Did you see all the videos from yesterday, Randy?
Golf sucks.
I saw
cute
some
little
of
kids.
them. Yeah,
Oh, my gosh.
I got up early this morning and watched the inaugural tee off of Jack Nicklaus and Gary Player and Tom Watson this morning. Poor Jack Nicklaus. This was probably going to be the last time that he's going to be able to tee it up
He
for
looked
this
like
inaugural.
he was struggling a little bit.
Oh boy, yeah. It's just getting old sucks, but it's just sad to see because obviously one of the, if not, I think probably regarded as the greatest player to ever play golf. So.
Yeah, you must not have seen me tee off at your golf event last summer then if you're going to say Jack's the best of all time.
Well, there you go. Maybe I missed one.
Last night was the big return to Dallas for Baby Nuts Luka Doncic. Were there any survivors? I didn't bother tuning into it.
He crushed them last night.
Did he?
I was going to say, he was a mess on the bench before the game.
He was a mess. They played a very emotional
He's got little baby nuts.
Yeah. But then he went out and scored like 40 or 45 or something. And big win for the Lakers last night.
Okay. Stand-up comic Tracy Morgan came back to Madison Square Garden for a Knicks game the other night, and this time he didn't puke.
Oh, that's good.
He should have done it again. That would have been hilarious.
The Tracy Morgan splash zone.
Yeah, or just faked it or something.
He called that food poisoning. That's the story he's sticking with. A couple weeks ago, he came to a Knicks game, courtside seats, and he splashed all over the floor.
But he didn't get it there, though, right? He ate somewhere else prior to the game.
I think that's what he said.
Yeah.
You know who he was sitting with last night, Josh?
Who that?
Ben Stiller.
They're pals.
Whose dad was 100 times funnier than he is. You know who else was at the game, Josh? Newly engaged couple, okay? Hang on to something, Randy Shaver.
I am.
At the Knicks game last night, newly engaged couple Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco.
Oh,
I love Selena Gomez.
Do you know those people?
Yeah, I grew up watching Selena Gomez on Wizards of Waverly Place.
Yeah.
Watched a lot of that when my older kids were.
How do you know who Benny Blanco is, Randy Shaver?
Because he's going to marry Selena Gomez.
Yeah, same here.
That's the only reason why. I wouldn't know him any other way.
I'm not really sure what he does. I think he might sing. I don't know.
I have no idea.
A record
Maybe he does sing. I thought he was kind of like a dude that produced.
I remember the character from, what was that Pacino movie when he has a little problem with Benny Blanco from the Bronx? What the hell was it? He's got the beard and the hot
Carlito's
girl. Carlito's Way. I love that movie.
The poor guy catches a lot of flack because he's not the most beautiful man in the world, and he's getting a chance to marry one of the hottest women in Hollywood, I think. Personally, that's my opinion.
Wow.
But I feel bad for the guy because people are always making fun of him.
It's not the first bulldog in Hollywood to marry a hot lady. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
Absolutely.
CC Sabathia was at the game, Josh. My old karaoke partner Michael Strahan was at the game. Friggin' Gretzky was at the game.
Yeah, you can be done chasing Ovechkin around all over the country.
He's a nobody now. And finally, before we let you go, Randy Shaver, creepy asshole Bill Belichick.
What's he doing now?
Well, he's not doing anything. But his name needs to be brought up here, or why would you care? I bet he inhales fist loads of Viagra these days. And who could blame him, He's got work to do. On the workbench, right, Josh?
Yeah. I think even a much younger man would probably need the same.
Yes, probably.
His little 20-some-year-old girlfriend by the name of Jordan Hudson, she's going to go ahead and compete in the Miss Maine beauty pageant. Oh, the competition is fierce. She's going to compete in the Miss Maine beauty pageant. Runner-up gets a canned ham. She'll be representing her hometown of Hancock, Maine. So what do you think about that?
I think that's marvelous.
Well, I'll be rooting for her.
Yeah.
Like I said, the last time we brought up Bill Belichick and his college-age girlfriend, I never paid attention to any of this because it's Bill Belichick and he disgusts me, so I avoid 99% of what's out there on the man. But I finally did look into it a month ago or so, and I didn't realize that she was such a foxy lady.
She's gorgeous.
She's very
attractive.
Like, where do you put her up against Benny Blanco?
Which one?
She's pretty high up there.
The one who ripped off the name and now is going to marry Selena Gomez.
Well, he's got a look,
Does he? I'll have to look him up.
Not the look you're looking for.
But it's a look.
They're on different spectrums.
Everybody's got a look. Everyone's got their own thing, and that's okay by me. Randy Shaver, by damn, one more tomorrow for you, okay?
Sounds good.
Enjoy yourself watching the Masters and all that. We'll be back in a few minutes here on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Well, there's my beautiful podcast, people. Everybody good? All right, great to hear. Thanks as always for listening to the podcast. And of course, thanks to our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for making it all possible. Can we believe it's April already? And like the old saying goes, April showers brings gross, disgusting humidity and heat in May. Beat the heat and the summer rush. Have Standard Heating and Air Conditioning out to work on that AC soon. April is the best month to get your air conditioning wrenched on before the huge summer rush starts. So get on that today. Go to standardheating.com and schedule that AC tune-up. Thanks for listening. We love you podcasters. Enjoy the show.
What's up, everyone? It's Trevor Sikkema here from the PFF NFL Show, here to get you ready for the 2025 NFL Draft. We're dropping PFF podcast episodes 3 times a week with the rankings, sleepers, team fits, mock drafts, and more, powered by the same data used by all 32 NFL teams. If you want a deeper insight into this year's class and how it all shapes up on draft day, we've got you covered. Become a smarter draft fan right now on the PFF NFL Podcast. The PFF NFL Podcast, part of the Believe Network. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Half-assed morning show, 93X.
Just got to try to keep it going. That's all we're trying to do around here. Thanks for punching in the 93X Half-assed morning show. Josh, do we spoil it for people and tell them the inside information we just learned from one of our pimp-ass listeners?
I think we do, yeah.
Yeah, it's too cool to not share.
I agree.
All right, cool. I didn't know if morally this would be wrong, but if Cubby says thumbs up, we're going to go for it. We've been talking about the big day Sunday at Target Field when Joe Mauer is going to be immortalized. They're going to unveil a bronze statue of Joe for being one of the greatest twins of all time. And we were curious. We were talking back and forth on air. I wonder what the statue is going to look like. Will he be standing? Will he be in his batting stance? Will he be... a listener who's working on the damn thing, setting it up at Target Field, sent us a picture. So I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. The Joe Mauer statue, he's handing a boarding pass to an airline employee. The statue, this is what he's doing. He's going to Mexico after being eliminated in the first round of the playoffs by the New York Yankees.
It's so realistic.
It is.
Yeah.
If you look closely at the boarding pass, you can see it says Mexico.
Yeah.
Mazatlan, it says. He's going to Mexico. He's handing the boarding pass to the air.
Did you see the LCD screen on there, too? It shows his tee time. He'd already lined up tee times when he gets there.
No, he's in his catcher's gear, and he appears to be trying to throw somebody out.
It looks pretty badass.
It looks great.
Yeah. I'm excited to see the whole thing.
We decided to tell one more little joke because our listeners were picking on Joe by saying, what's he doing? Is he on the trainer's table? Is he grounding into a double play? Because you people are dicks and never appreciated Joe Mauer. No, he's in the catch. He's throwing the baseball. Josh, when you were a young buck and you and your classmate bros were all circled up picking teams for, say, maybe a game of football or some type of activity during a physical education class, did you ever get picked last? And if so, how hurtful was that experience?
If not last, very close to the bottom.
Dang, that sucks.
Once or twice last, but badminton I was pretty good at. So badminton, not so much, but certainly the majority of other athletic events.
Football, basketball.
Sure, keep going.
Soccer, hockey.
Yep.
You know what's worse than getting picked last when there's an uneven number of kids, and then they make that final pick, and then you're the odd man out, and they're like, oh, sorry, man, it's 5-on-5, we got 11, you can't play.
Oh, I haven't had that, but I've had the, all right, we'll take Whitney.
Yeah.
I've had that.
We never picked people based off of their athletic abilities. It was just about who was cool or not.
Yeah, either way it hurts, Ashley. Being picked, it doesn't really matter. That doesn't help.
Oh, yeah, Ashley, it's not always 100% about who's going to score you the most goals or get you the most touchdowns.
Usually it's your buddies first.
It's usually you take your cool-ass buddy so you guys can joke around and be jagoffs. Hurtful to be picked last. Let me give you a heads up on what the social media folks have been going back and forth about, because it's cute. What are examples, they say, what are examples of being picked last in gym class as an adult? Do you see what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
What are some adult examples of being picked last in gym class? All right? I'm sure you can think of a couple right off the top of your head. How about getting invited out to be the designated driver. Oh, no.
I do have a sober friend and he always jokes. He goes, did you guys invite me because you want me here, or did you invite me for a ride?
Well, I remember I was pretty excited. One of my neighbors hosts a poker night, right? And he invited me, and I thought, wow, that's so cool. And people are saying, well, dude, it's because he knows you've played it once and have no idea how to play. They're looking for some easy money.
Yeah, we call you dead money, Josh.
Oh, is that it?
Yep, dead money.
Oh, man, did that hurt. Like, I thought I was one of the guys.
Yeah, look at me hanging out with the bros.
Nope, they just wanted my money.
No, I've never.
Joke's on them. I don't have any.
Doesn't have any. I've never experienced that, getting invited out to be the designated driver. That sucks.
My friends know me better than that.
You know, I can't say that back in high school we didn't do that. If we knew there was a kid who wasn't a big drinker, I can't say that we never included them for that very reason. But then again, at the same time, we didn't really pay much attention to drunk driving back in those days. We didn't. Sadly.
Yeah.
Stupidly, we didn't.
I thought it was pretty cool once. There's a local band that used to hang out here quite a bit. Good friends with our promotions director at the time. Played a few of our shows. And one of the guys, the bass player, he's like, hey, how would you like to come to a party we're hosting? And I thought, wow, I would absolutely love that. That's great. But what he wanted me to do was to operate the stereo. So I wasn't invited like as a friend. It was just to run the stereo.
Sucks.
He was kind of a dick.
If you are, and I know a couple guys who play this role, and I'll give you all the credit in the world. I find it so difficult to be sober and hanging around drunk people.
It's my least favorite thing in the world.
So difficult. If you can do that, you're a special person.
Oh, I don't know. I think you just get used to it. I mean, that's my situation, right? For no real reason. I just don't drink very often.
Well, okay. So you'd say you just get, at first it bothered you, but now you're used to it?
It's just always been that way. So no, I could see how it would. There's certainly, there's a few people where you think, here we go.
I hate it.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do too.
Maybe
it's
you're
awful.
right. I'm sure you're right that I would get used to it.
How about your brother? Your brother's sober now. How does he handle it?
Fine.
Yeah, it's probably just being used to it because he's been sober for a very long time. As long as I've known him.
25 years. You don't hear me dump a lot of compliments on him, my brother. But I'll give him all the credit in the world. He can completely, comfortably, happily be a sober guy around a bunch of drunk morons. I can't stand the noise. I can't stand the stupid jokes. I can't stand the constant repeating that happens.
I was going to say that for me, either the guy that's just so over the top, wants to be the super funny guy and does ridiculous stuff that's going to get you in trouble, that's annoying. That I would say that's pretty infrequent. But the repeated jokes as if you didn't hear it the first time,
right,
that can get annoying.
And I'm sure I'm guilty of that when I am drunk. When I am sober, and when I'm drunk, I don't notice it. When I'm sober, I notice every little friggin' detail, and I want to murder these people. If you're a sober person that can hang around drunks, by damn.
No, there's some
you are special.
A few people are texting in the same thing. The same situation, an example of being picked last in gym class, but as an adult. As if we have some experience. How about not getting invited to your coworker's wedding until other more important people drop out? I wonder what that would feel like. Gosh, what would that feel like?
The three of you wouldn't know.
No, we certainly wouldn't.
Tell me if you've experienced this. Friends, how many of us have them? Sing it, Cubby. Friends wanting a group photo together. And then they hand you the phone or camera. Friends wanting a group photo. Would you take this for us?
I'd be happy to not be in a photo and do that.
But what if it was like you're together with your 5-6 closest high school buddies? Hey, it's great that we're all together finally after all these years. Let's get a picture. Hey, Josh, take this picture.
That would be so rude. I can't imagine that happening.
People talking about party plans in front of you, but not inviting you. What's this? Donnie's house? What time? Hey, how come no one wants to tell me what time we're gathering at Donnie's house?
Don't do that. Don't talk about plans in front of people that they're not invited to.
Or if you're sitting on the couch watching a game by yourself, maybe on a Friday or Saturday night, and then you see on social media that all your friends are gathered at a bar watching that same game, and you're just,
Or they call you and you hear the noise in the background. They're at a friggin' house party. You're at a bar with 10, 12 people.
Yep.
Are you watching this game? Well, yeah, I'm at home alone. You could have called me.
Thanks for the invite.
Pest Control Jesus had a friend who invited him to the movies because he had an extra ticket. He was super excited to go and then found out after the movie that he was his fourth choice. The third choice was his dad.
Oh! I'm below your friggin' dad?
No! Oh, no.
I'll tell you what, I did flip out once in high school because one of my buddies who never had parties had one. Well, it wasn't like a Friday or Saturday night thing. It was a weeknight gathering, drinking beer on a weeknight, on a school night. And I didn't get a phone call. It wasn't huge. Only 5, 6 other people got called. Hey, come over, let's drink some beer here on a school night. But I didn't get called, and what pissed me off was me and my brother's place where we grew up was the most lawless house in town. You could come over there anytime, drink beer, smoke cigarettes, chew tobacco, fall asleep on the couch. Our house was lawless, and this buddy of mine was always over at our house. And the one time he has people over, he didn't call me. The next day in school, I laid into this peckerhead like I was on cocaine or something. I went after this guy, you prick bastard. In the end, we made up, but that offended me. We always had parties, always had people over. If you got kicked out of your house, you could come to our house. And my folks, mom, dad would say, yeah, go ahead, sleep on the couch. But this bastard, I was a little, when you're a kid, that means something to you.
Yeah, I could see that being hurtful. By the way, and I want to apologize. I shared the story about being very excited to be invited to my first ever poker night with one of my neighbors who throws this party, and it seems like everybody's having fun, camaraderie, being one of the boys. And then somebody had ruined it for me and said, well, they want to take your money. They know you're a sucker. Now, a few people are texting in saying, oh, no, they were in the same spot, and they just found out they were the sucker at that party. Yeah. I'm sorry to do that to you. I know how much it sucked when I found that out.
It has to be one.
I didn't mean to put that on anybody else.
Opening people's eyes to some of the hurtful things that they never noticed in the first place.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Okay, again, this conversation is adult examples of being picked last in gym class.
I just thought of a great one that happened to me at the Metrodome. It's about 20, 21 years old. It was a student night game for a Twins game, the upper deck. It was $5 tickets, $2 beer, whatever it was, and 5 or 6, 7, 8 rows in front of me, I see an old bro from high school, a guy I hadn't seen since we graduated. We're good pals. I'm like, oh, man, Sam's here. I nudge my buddies. That's Sam? Yeah, that's Sam. So I pull out my cell phone because it was so loud in there, and I call him. I'm like, oh, he's going to be so surprised. I'm going to wave, hey, look behind you. I see him. He pulls his cell phone out of his pocket, looks at it. No, just puts it right back in the pocket.
I don't do that for that fear of that reason, like watching somebody do that.
Oh, it's so devastating.
All right, Jacob texted. It took me a second to understand this, but this is good. How about when the wife tries to reassure you about your penis size by saying, hey, you know what? At least you're bigger than all your friends.
Oh.
That's got to be a hey moment.
Right, some of these are very similar. Just change the situation very slightly. Everyone going out for lunch at work but not asking you to join. Finding out that your friends went out of town without calling or texting you. Or when your friend who lives out of town comes back for a few days and doesn't bother to tell you.
Yeah, especially if you think you're close.
Yep. Being sat at the randoms table at a wedding. I guess I've never noticed what the label is. What I'm missing a word. What the
I wouldn't know what association was. Why would just assume, the people that all know each other go in certain tables, and if you don't know each other, you go in a different one.
You shouldn't let that bother you because for the most part, it's because it can be because you don't have a +1, somebody else with you. So there was an extra table at my wedding where the people that didn't have a +1.
Yeah, a little singles mixer.
Yeah, there you go. You can be friends with each other.
Sure, that makes sense. I've never sat down at a wedding and thought, oh, I'm at the this table or the that table.
I haven't either.
I didn't know that was a thing.
I wouldn't want to be sat at the table with all the aunts or the uncles or a big friend group that I didn't know. That would suck.
I'm hoping that no family shows up, actually, Ashley. All right, we'll get back to this in a minute. We got to take a break. Being picked last in gym class, that blows. Some of us remember those. Some of us have had that experience, but what are some adult examples of such a thing?
Half-assed Morning Show. 93X.
Can you believe it? Here's where we're at. We've been talking about the adult versions of being picked last in gym class. Being left out of something fun, more or less. That's hurtful, isn't it?
Yeah, at any age.
Getting picked last when you're playing football with your bros, whatever, gym class, yeah, that sucks. Then you become a grown person, and that kind of thing, it can still happen. Here are a few more examples. We talked about, getting invited out, but you're the designated driver. Friends want a group picture together. They hand you the friggin' camera. Hilarious. People talking about party plans in front of you but not inviting you. All right, how about this? Oh, wow. This is an interesting one, really is. I wouldn't think much of this. It says here, when you're the one who always has to drop behind when the path is too narrow for 3 people or 4 people or 5. Do you see what I'm saying?
I never would have thought of that, but yeah, that's true.
I'm that guy.
You are that guy?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's surprising because you walk fast.
You're a fast walker, very pigeon-toed.
Yeah, I am. And duck-toed.
So you don't end up walking shoulder to shoulder with the friends. You drop behind.
Yeah, if somebody's coming the other way and we got to thin the herd a little bit, yeah, I'll drop behind.
They merge in front of you and leave you. Well, that's not right.
This is a good one. And it's funny that this comes up from Millennial Steel Cutter Jesus, because I just had this thought last night. I was at the Wild game with my family, and I noticed, the young people in my life, they've got all these group texts that they're a part of, and I'm only a part of one, and that's with you guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're the only group text that I have. Huh. And so he said, he thought of one here, Millennial Steel Cutter Jesus. When your friends have a group chat together and you're not in it, and then find out about it.
That would suck.
That would absolutely
if you're a younger person, maybe you're sensitive to that kind of a thing. Sure.
Is everyone in a bunch of group chats?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, I've got...
They fire off nonstop all day.
Oh, that might be annoying.
No, I love it.
It's a lot of work. That stuff is a lot of work.
You can just turn notifications off, Josh. It helps.
I'm just with you guys.
Cubby, no one ate your dish at the potluck. That's another...
I always eat a little everything for that reason. Just to make sure nobody thinks, well,
that's so nice of you.
I wasted a couple hours here.
You don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but I guess that's another adult version of being picked last in gym class. Nobody eats what you brought to the stinking potluck.
Ashley, your pasta salad's bomb, though. I bet that goes quick everywhere.
Thank you. Yeah, I try to make the fan favorites when I do a potluck.
That's for
because
sure.
that would absolutely break my heart if people didn't eat my food.
Yeah, the potluck isn't the time to get cocky with the recipe.
You know what else hurts the feelings of some adults? When you've met someone multiple times and they still say, hey, nice to meet you.
Oh, I'm so bad at this because I recognize faces more than names. And I hate when I forget somebody's name because then they make it seem like I just don't remember meeting them. Oh, I hate that.
That's why you never say it's nice to meet you. You always say it's nice to see you.
Oh, that's so smart. This just happened to me 2 days ago. I shook this guy's hand. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm Ashley. It's nice to meet you. He's like, yeah, we've met before. Darn it.
How about this? This recently happened to me where I gave a very enthusiastic greeting to somebody who I thought was somebody else.
Oh.
I had never met that person. Oh, no. I think I really weirded them out. It was a spinning image of somebody else I knew, and I was very enthusiastic.
We've all been there.
Here's a few takes now from our beautiful listening audience. Little hurtful things that happen as adults. It kind of feels similar to when you're picked last in gym class. Pizza crust Jesus. This is a cool one. A cool one. That's not the right way to put it. This is very unique. Very unique. How about not getting inviting isn't... how about not getting invited to your best friend's wedding because your ex-wife won the couple in a divorce?
Oh, man.
Oh, that sucks for you.
Does he mean what I think he means, where, his wife said, hey, look, you're not hanging out with these two anymore. They're mine.
Oh, I just assumed that the friends picked the wife.
That's what I was assuming, too. Yeah, the friends chose the wife over him.
Yeah.
Oh.
But maybe not. Maybe I...
Okay.
It's usually the friends call.
Okay.
I was undefeated in my divorce, by the way.
Were you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I would be all defeated. My wife would be picked by everybody, for sure.
That's an interesting one. So it's your best friend, but they picked your ex over you. Okay, now I'm following this.
So, how about this one? This one would suck. My wife, this person says, my wife has a fairly big family. She asked her 4 brothers if they should all go to the fair. No reply, but then found out the rest of the family went and they weren't included.
Oh.
It was her idea.
What the heck?
Oh, man.
Being picked to be in a porno video, but you're the husband that leaves for work.
My big break.
The clothes never come off.
I mentioned earlier, I'm impressed by sober people because this came into play, right? People invite you out, but then they want you to be the designated driver. Oh, great. That's all I'm good for, is to drive you drunks around. And I mentioned earlier, I'm impressed by sober people who can hang out with drunks. I can't do it. I hate it. And I instantly want out of that situation. Here's a listener who texted in and said he's got a buddy who quit drinking a couple of years ago. He still hangs out, but tends to tap out a whole lot earlier than he used to. Yeah, because he knows what's coming. He knows what's coming. It's going to get louder. The stories are going to get stupider. Midnight Pickle Jesus says this. Hey, can't be the designated driver if you show up drunk.
There you go.
Well, I know a guy who bought a pickup truck that didn't have a back seat simply so he wouldn't have to be a designated driver or give people rides around town.
So no one would ask me to be a designated driver.
Brilliant.
My dad always gave me that advice. He said, if you ever buy a truck, make sure that it doesn't have a really big bed and that it just has a bench seat.
I had a 4-door pickup there, Cubby, for about 3 years, and those were 3 very nerve-wracking years. I kept waiting for that phone call where we were all going to go somewhere, and they'd say, well, you've got a big vehicle.
Yep.
I hate driving, especially. One more here. Calibration, Jesus, as far as getting your feelings hurt as an adult, kind of like gym class when you get picked last. How about when you hear this, Josh? Sure, you can come too. I mean, if you want.
I mean, I know you're super busy.
Yeah.
And you probably have other things going on.
I've been guilty of using that line before, but not on purpose, just because that was just the way to say it, I guess. And I've corrected myself. Now I say, yeah, I want you to come. You should be there.
Oh, no, now I'm going to realize that. Is that with your baby shower when you said that to me? Do you really mean just send a gift, don't show up? You don't want to?
No, that's more like, I don't want to make you guys go to Coon Rapids if you don't want to.
Nobody wants to go to Coon Rapids. Thank you very much for your text. You made this subject even more fun than it had the potential to be. Our listening audience, always great with the text messages. We appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate the vulnerability. I love that.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I'm right there with you. Thoughts and prayers to Wisconsin sports fan Jesus and family. They've got to put down their Yorkie buddy Charlie today. We all know how tough that is. Very sorry to hear that news. Congrats to Mucho Man Godson Jesus. I bet that they meant Macho. Macho Man Godson Jesus on his last day at his current job starts a new one with something he's calling a raise on Monday.
Huh.
A raise?
What is that?
I don't know what that is. He's getting, whatever it is, he's getting one of those.
I've heard of it.
Happy 16th to Avery, a.k.a. doesn't want to be embarrassed with a Jesus named Jesus from Beer and Pizza Jesus. Landscaper Jesus texted in a 4 to 5 day late notice for landscaper Keen Jesus. His birthday was on Sunday, but they all just woke up from quite a bender. So
I looked it up. If you go outside and do some sunbathing, a raise.
Oh, a raise. Yeah. That's what that is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, there must be some good UVs coming up. Best of luck. Lather up with lotion. Have a great Thursday, everyone.
93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
You gotta be kidding me. Who greenlit this garbage?
The 93X half-assed morning show.
Well, there's my beautiful podcast, people. Everybody good? All right, great to hear. Thanks as always for listening to the podcast. And of course, thanks to our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for making it all possible. Can we believe it's April already? And like the old saying goes, April showers brings gross, disgusting humidity and heat in May. Beat the heat and the summer rush. Have Standard Heating and Air Conditioning out to work on that AC soon. April is the best month to get your air conditioning wrenched on before the huge summer rush starts. So get on that today. Go to standardheating.com and schedule that AC tune-up. Thanks for listening. We love you podcasters. Enjoy the show.